Yo, 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 yo. It's your boy, the insurance junkie, your fiduciary fella, the all-star advisor Alonzo Hall. And I've returned today to whap and tap on your head with another ADH wealth solution. Today, I'm going to talk about Pookie and Ray Ray. What's going on? And I want to talk about what Pookie and Ray Ray are to the black community. You see, in the wrong. Sorry. We look at them as people who are dregs of society. What's going on, Queena? As opposed to people who may be real Pookie and Ray Rays. See, when we look at Pookie and Ray Ray in the community, especially from the space of the black manosphere, intellectual soapbox, what's going on? I'm chopping up a little bit. Hold on, I'm in a bad service area. But when we look at Pookie and Ray Ray, often, especially in this space, it's from the lens of either the failed Pookie and Ray Ray, right? Or the wannabe Pookie and Ray Ray. So these are guys who, because they're upset about Keisha, and Keisha's attracted to Pookie and Ray Ray. But let's be honest, Pookie and Ray Ray are a necessity in our community. I'm talking real Pookie and Ray Ray, not failed fake Pookie and Ray Ray. Right? But we need the real Pookie and Ray Ray in our community. We shouldn't exactly shun them. Why? Because Pookie and Ray Ray are the warrior class of our community. Right? You've got the business class, right? Who will go out there and they'll be cutthroat in business and they'll do all that. But I ain't really trying to go bust nobody's head open, right? I mean, to protect myself and such, sure. But for the most part, no, I'm not trying to go bust somebody's head open, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, if you can hear me okay now, put a 1 in the chat if I'm not choppy anymore. But I'm not trying to go bust somebody's head open. But Pookie and Ray Ray might, right? And, hold on. Pookie and Ray Ray are a necessity in our world because not only do we need them for, being our warrior class, but we also need them for shit like educated lames want to go get their fix, right? Guys want to go smoke their blunts. Hold on. Guys want to go smoke their blunts, right? And things of that nature. Well, you still need the Pookie and Ray Ray for that. So, in the sense that, how you doing? That's our warrior class, right? And instead of shunning them, we need to just help them. So, how do you help the warrior class? Well, you point them in a proper direction, right? So, how do you point them in a proper direction? Well, you got to do things like say, hey, listen, let's focus this energy. Let's give each other something to look forward to. Let's give each other something to work towards. How you doing, mama? All right. So that at the end of it all, we actually have some something built towards, or something that we have built towards. As it stands, right? We can't just be like, oh, Pookie and Ray Ray ain't shit, and this, that, and the third. What's going on, fellas? All right, how's it going, Jimmy? So we can't just be like, oh, Pookie and Ray Ray ain't shit, and that's the end of it, and they're the dregs of society, and Um, pull up your pants, and that's the end of the story, right? I'll put it to you like this: it's just like in rock and roll, right? You had "Welcome to the Jungle," right? So just because they're upstanding citizens of society, right? And we're, out upstanding citizens of society, we still do shit like get our fix. Well, you need Pookie and Ray Ray to be the guys who supply your shit for your fix, right? So we still do need the criminal element. What's up, boy? Chill it. All right. So the criminal element is still a necessity. Now, if we could clean that up and kind of bring each other to more legitimacy, that would make more sense. But as it stands, Pookie and Ray Ray are necessary. So, guys, I'll drop the link in a minute so you could come up and, drop your thoughts on it. But I want to give you guys a monologue first and kind of see where I'm headed with this, right? So, again, we've got so much stuff in this space, and right now there's a lot of guys, there's a lot of lines being drawn in the sand, right? You got guys who are like, you're not a grown man and you got to dress like this and stop crying about Keisha and skills and resources. And while that's cool and that's a necessity, there are guys who are at different points in life. So there are some guys who are mad at or about Keisha, right? And we can't be mad at those guys for just getting to that point in their life, right? Maybe I'm over, because I didn't get Keisha in high school, but now, the next kid is just out of high school and didn't get his Keisha in high school. So, the more things change, the more they stay the same, right? Maybe it's not Keisha, it's La Keisha, whatever. Uh, but at the end of the day, there's still a lot of those same things that are desired. So, one of the reasons for Pookies and Ray Rays in our community, and we were talking about this last time, is we don't have a rite of passage, right? So you look at a lot of other communities, Jewish community, they have the bar mitzvah. That's a rite of passage. That's how they know they're going from boyhood into manhood. Black community don't want, we don't have that. What do we have? Oh, I'm 13, I guess I'll join a gang. Well, that's not really a rite of passage, right? All it is kids following kids. And so unfortunately, that's the only sense of belonging that's there. That's why you have so much crime ridden, quote unquote crime ridden, it's little boys running around doing mischief. You know what we used to do when I was young and a kid and we were mischievous? They used to do what we call nigger knocking. You know what nigger knocking is? Some people know it as doorbell ditching, where you go, you knock on the door, and you fucking run. Do you know that 4 undercover police cars actually damn near ran us off the road for fucking doorbell ditching? Salute, perfect time. What's going on? I'm gonna drop the link in a few. Blaze 50, what it do, cuz? So these are things that we need an outlet for, right? And boom, there you go. You get a rite of passage, and that's something to do. Now, here's where I'm gonna lean on the men in our community again, right? If we're in our 40s and we realize that our young boys have no rite of passage, then who the fuck is supposed to create that rite of passage? And I'll give you a clue. It ain't the women. And I'll give you another clue. It ain't the fucking government. And I'll give you another clue. It's not the public school system. Right? So, who the fuck does that leave to create a rite of passage for the boys from the men? I'm gonna play the Jeopardy music while I light my spliff. Hold up, perfect. 'Cause I know you're here with me. Right? So if there's no um if there's no government that's gonna do it, the women can't do it, the public schools can't do it. We gotta do it, fellas. So we create that rite of passage for our community, right? And that rite of passage shouldn't be fucking getting shot or fucking something ridiculous, right? We can have reasonable things. Maybe it's we go hunt an animal of some sort, right? Uh, which hunting is actually something that's not obviously in an urban setting is fairly hard to do. Um, and then you know, I don't know. It should just makes it crazy. It's crazy because there is no rite of passage. Hey, what's up, fellas? Right? So there's no rite of passage. There's no anything, right? Um, but again, who is there to lead us to the promised land? If it's not us, who? Right? And we got to stop falling for the okey doke. Like, you got to stop this. Oh, white supremacy is holding me back. So, how long have you felt that a white man was superior to you? Well, what are you talking about? Well, you're kowtowing to something called white supremacy. That's not supremacy. I told you what a true supremacist is. A true supremacist wants his opponent at their apex best and or with an advantage, so when I dominate, I can show my true superiority. That's a supremacist, right? And then, oh, well, systematic racism. Man, I can understand that. But if it's a system is indiscriminate. And let's be honest. If you really look at things, public enemy number one, persona non grata in America, is a heterosexual white man. Everybody hates straight white men. Fucking straight white men hate straight white men because they have to. Right? So let's slow down a little bit and let's get our own shit together. Right? Reparations will never happen from the country that you live in. So we have to go to like Great Britain or something and ask for that. Just like America. Yes, Lloyd, I just said white men are public enemy number one. Tell me who does not have a problem with heterosexual white men. Lloyd, you're a heterosexual black man. You apparently have a problem with a heterosexual white man. Yeah, peace, brother. You can be out. I'll drop the link. You can gladly come and discuss it. Give me a few minutes. I only been going for 10 minutes. Give me 10 more minutes. I'll drop the link. You can come voice your opinion. But it's ignorance like that. Did you just say white men are public enemy number one? Yes. Who does not hate heterosexual white males? What group does not blame everything on straight white men? What group in America doesn't? It's just the reality of the situation, right? So again, I'm and look, dude, I'm a fucking pro blackity black motherfucker. So I'm not like kowtowing. I just call a spade, right? So, you know, um, shit, it's just like fucking Nick Fuentes the other day. Yeah, the racist guy. You know what he said? He said something very honest about Kanye West. He was like, yeah, Kanye's an artist. Kanye is a person who puts himself out there and is like, yes, hate me. Why? Because I push the conversation forward. I'll take all of those arrows and then push the conversation forward. So go ahead. Hold on, I'm lighting up again. Um, and yeah, I'm definitely gonna drop the link because I will allow for some folks to come up and we can discuss this. But again, it's just like Pookie and Ray Ray. So Pookie and Ray Ray are hated in the black community from us educated lanes or where's my hug at ass niggas who are mad that we didn't get the big booty girl in high school. Now we're 40 and accomplished and we want to go rub it in their faces. Oh, I'm a passport bro. Oh, I'm this, I'm that. Listen, we're not making an effect on the future because everybody keeps starting from zero. So what happens is, as opposed to being open-minded and having the conversation, we become ignorant and don't even want to hear it. That's why people got mad at Ice Cube for sitting with Donald Trump. He was currently in fucking power. Why wouldn't you sit with the person in power at the time? And then let's see, we've waited for Joe Biden. 89% of the black vote went to Joe Biden. What has he done for your black ass? Nothing? Oh. What did Kamala Harris say she was going to do? No, I'm not going to do anything specifically for black people. Let's see. We've sure got a lot of LGBTQ laws in. We've gotten the Asian hate crime bill. We got the Hispanic Prosperity Initiative. Not mad at any of them for getting any of their shit, but don't get mad at me for wanting my shit. And don't act like I need to be extremely inclusive in your shit with my shit. Because you're not extremely inclusive with your shit for me. I get excluded from a bunch of that shit. I'm basically the same as a heterosexual white male, except I'm a heterosexual black male. That's why I said straight white men are pretty much the most hated thing. You know what the second most hated thing is? Straight black men. So, you know. And again, I ain't got a problem with shit. But I do have a problem with me not being able to get mine while you can get yours. See, again, it none of that stuff matters when we have control of our own community. But unfortunately, so many men in our community have been fucking bitch made that we can't do shit in our community. We can't seem to run shit. We get pockets here and there, but no, we don't run shit. How many brothers in this space? Oh, I'm running John Smith's Trucking LLC. I make $100,000 a year. Cool. I told you, motherfuckers, in 2017, 31,000 Sikh men entered the trucking industry simultaneously. 31,000 of them. So that means that, let's say, just like us, some of them infight, because that's what people do. But let's say 3,000 of them come together and put together Singh Brothers Trucking LLC versus Alonzo, the nigga from the hood at Trucking LLC. Right? Well, they have 3 men in one truck. I have just me in my truck. So they're going to deliver 3 times as fast because while I have to pull over and sleep, they're still up driving because there's 3 men in one truck. If they have to stop and do maintenance, it's done 3 times as fast. Because now one person can do this, the next person can do that, the next person can do that. Right? But again, we have no rites of passage. My cousin, she married a Sikh man. You know what his daddy bought them for a wedding gift? A fucking house. You know? I talk to niggas in the hood every day. I know niggas been selling cocaine since I was 16. They ain't sold a kilo yet. But I tell them to Google Colombian cocaine cartel life insurance. The New York Times literally tells you niggas that the real El Chapo and them hid $80 million of drug money and cocaine in life insurance. When I was in Brooklyn at the Risley Dent Projects, I knew a nigga who had a 5-summer run with Nick Sour. I was like, yo, I buy $100 of weed, a half an ounce of fucking weed from you, my nigga. Like it's nothing. But see, niggas is too stupid to see the fucking forest for the trees. So the reason I won't do business with you, because you won't do business back. You'll make 10 times the money I would make off of you. But see, you're not even open enough to save your shit. So fuck you. I'll give my money to these other niggas. And that's what ends up happening. Right? She said, not a damn thing. It's a fact, B. Actual fact. Right? But the niggas at Risley Dent, I was like, yo, put $100 a month away. That's $1,200 a year. Cause it ain't no retirement account in the streets. Ain't no 401k from selling, just moving bricks. You could set up your own. That sounds like something for a nigga with a job. My nigga, I give you per week what you would set away fucking per month for this. Right? On the humble. Cause you know I'm a smoker. So I drop at least $100 a week on niggas. Easily. But niggas don't see the forest for the trees. See, what happens is niggas think small, not large. So niggas are thinking eighths to ounce and maybe one day reaching a key. Niggas aren't thinking multiple kilos. But again, why is that? Because the older generation taught us too small. See, when they was out there selling crack in the 80s, making shit tons of money, nobody bought a fucking apartment building like they showed us in New Jack City. Niggas just went and bought fucking Gucci belts. Right? Listen, I tell you all the time, niggas love all this fly, fancy, name brand bullshit. All I wear is fucking Calvin Klein t-shirts and Calvin Klein underwear. Every day you see me in a t-shirt and underwear, but it's Calvin Klein. My t-shirts are fucking $30 a t-shirt, but I look like an average nigga. Right? And I don't say that to brag, but I say that to say there's levels to this shit. Right? I also say that to say stop falling for the bullshit of when they show a picture of a rich guy and a poor guy, like the rich guy don't spend ass loads of money on this shit because you don't see the logo. That's not the truth. You just don't see the logo. But let me tell you, the next time you see a picture with a nigga that's got all name brand shit on with logos versus a nigga that's got all non-name brand shit on, trust me, that rich guy ain't rich because he wearing clothes from Walmart. Because all his shit is Gucci too. It's just a small fucking logo like this Calvin Klein t-shirt or my Calvin Klein boxers that I wear every fucking day. And Calvin Klein ain't even a fucking high name brand. I just like the brand. It's mid-level fashion. You know? But that's the reality of this shit. How's it going? The problem is, too many of y'all get fooled by running around with a fucking shit that says Gucci. See, rich people don't wear some shit that fucking says Gucci, but everything they have on is fucking Gucci. You just can't fucking tell till you look at the tag. She says, I like Calvin Klein too. Yeah, no, Calvin Klein is definitely a brand I enjoy. But again, what I'm wearing doesn't say Calvin Klein. It just has a small little Calvin Klein logo. All right? It's kind of the way that shit works. Right? I'm the guy who, when I walk in the car dealership, I'm wearing a pair of all black or all white New Balances. You know you selling $100,000 car. Right? But see, when I walk up with a $420 Robert Graham blazer, unfortunately, our people don't understand suit language. I had this conversation with a homeboy of mine. But I'm going to drop that link. I've been doing for 25 minutes now. So I'm going to definitely drop the link on you. I should have went to the corner store and got me a damn Lucy. Hold on. Let me drop this link for y'all. Anybody who wants to, feel free to come up, speak your opinion. Like I said, it's a judgment-free zone. This is where you want to have those conversations. You know, you can actually have that conversation. I'm not going to cut you off because I want to hear a dissenting point of view. You know, I don't mind. Uh, let's see. Looks like I got someone coming up. We here. She,
What's
what's up,
going
brother?
on? Yeah, I was
Going
gonna
on?
say, a lot of times rich people they buy for the quality of the fabric and how long they last compared to the name brand. Because name brand fashions, they do have quality material which they like, but the price is this. I can spend $100 on a t-shirt, or I can invest that money and just buy a small name brand, like you say, a Calvin Klein, but still has the quality in which I want for the materials that I wear.
Exactly, bro. So, that's the other thing we got to look at is value over cost, right? So, like
Yep.
prime example, I did a video the other day, where I unboxed my Coach wallet, right? So, the only reason I bought a second one because I have the first one, but the only reason I use Coach is because they're good leather goods, right? So when you're looking at like luxury items, like if I'm gonna get luxury uh like luggage, then I'll get Louis Vuitton. But I'm not gonna just get a bunch of shit with Louis Vuitton on it because that's garbage. Louis Vuitton is made for luggage. So that's what I would get Louis Vuitton for. I wouldn't get it just because, oh look, it's a LV logo. Well, that's a waste of fucking money. Right? Um so like that's why I got the Coach wallet because it's good leather quality. So yes, it's expensive, but it's quality, so it'll last a long time. But unfortunately, our community has not been taught that. So what happens is it leans on men like us to actually teach that to the next generation. But how do you teach that without coming off cocky? Hey, what's up, Malika?
Yeah. And the best way to teach it is, just in general, showing them the value in which your money goes a long way, and the popularity amongst that. I was just talking about that this morning. Do you want to be popular in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, or your 50s, or your 60s, or whatever? You know, you can be popular and buy all the nice fancy cars and things now, but you'll be regretting them later on in life. You know, I was looking at this video where the guy was kind of trying to get a guy one up because his girl was dumping him because he stayed with his friend on his couch. Instead of him having a car, he has a scooter, and I don't forgot what else it was. It was three things that she was leaving. Oh yeah, I guess because he don't buy clothes like that. Like he's not stylish, and so the lady, was getting, to the point where she dumped him, and the guy was trying to get the guy some credit, like, oh, rent is expensive, and he's staying with his friend who wants to buy a car because you got to pay for gas and insurance, and if you don't
Right.
use a car like that, it means this. And with him buying clothes, he don't have to buy the latest trends of fashion and clothes. Flips and a sweatshirt is good enough depending on what you do. But then it comes a point of a point of growing up, And I put it in the comment of the video, it was like that guy needs to grow up. You know, I understand the point of him not having a car to an extent, if you don't really work like that, because you're gonna need a car depending on how you work. You're gonna need a car. Mostly in New York, you don't need a car, but down south, where you go to small countries or you have to do surveys or something, you got to get out there. You need a vehicle,
Yeah, you don't need a
and
car in New York at all.
yeah. So you need a vehicle though when you're in these other states or small cities and stuff. You're gonna need a vehicle. Same thing applies to the clothes. I get it. You don't have to have the latest trends, but you have to have at least one suit and a couple of three button-up collar shirts. Preferably the older you get, the more you should be wearing those versus wearing, t-shirts all the time. I always push that. And with the car, oh yeah, even with the living situations, there's nothing wrong with him staying with his friend as long as he's paying rent. If he's over there bumming off his friend, not giving him nothing, then that shows, dude, like what are you doing with your money? Like if you're saving to buy a house or someone's letting you kick it and you putting all your eggs in one basket for a greater reward, that's understandable. But for you just doing it just to just to be a bum or really not, like, I can respect her for leaving him like that. And in most cases we put this point that to a man in his situation we got to show some type of sympathy. But then again, if you're a man not living up to expectations and then you think the world should be at your feet, like, what type of man are you? That's why I say these new wave men, even with the whole Pookie and Ray Ray thing, a myth. You got so many guys labeled Pookie and Ray Ray that they are legitimate businessmen, but they're just in the wrong professions. Look
Well,
at Big
see,
Meech. Big
that's what
Meech.
I'm saying.
Go
So
ahead.
Pookie and Ray Ray are a necessity. That's what I wanted to say, right? So here's why I mean
Yeah.
that, right? So you've got Pookie and Ray Ray who exist, and let's look at it. In this space, everybody's mad at Pookie and Ray Ray. Why are they mad at Pookie and Ray Ray? Because he got Keisha with the big booty instead of me, right? So I'm mad at Pookie and Ray Ray because I wanted Keisha with the big booty and you got her. And now I'm mad, right? But now that we're in our 40s, Pookie and Ray Ray are still necessary because people want to get certain things, right? So guys get to a certain level and, they have vices. Like I said, they might want to, get they smoke or they drink or whatever. And who do they got to go see to go do that with? Pookie and Ray Ray. And then if you look at it realistically, Pookie and Ray Ray are the warrior class of our community. It's just directed in the wrong way, right? Because Pookie and Ray Ray are willing to go out there and bust somebody in the head or get busted in the head and all that, and they crave fighting. It would be like the Vikings, right? As opposed to just useless pummeling. They could be like Genghis Khan or some great warlord who actually conquered territory, like Alexander the Great, right? But unfortunately, they're Pookie and Ray Ray because it's misguided. I'll stop there.
Yeah. Even with that, the issue with the Pookie and Ray Ray myth, a lot of times we have situations to where we trying to garner something to benefit our narrative. Because lo and behold, we have Pookie and Ray Ray out here doing these things, pushing forth this, handling this, doing this about and out. But you have the same educated guys that go overseas, pop bottles, and don't just say, well, those little Pookie and Ray Rays with money. No, they have a couple of educated guys doing the same thing, because I've heard guys on the panel talking about
Yeah.
how they go in there and get two and three women at a time when they go to those places. I heard, like, the whole thing is, let's keep it a buck. It is what it is. If you're going over there to deal with women, say that. Don't go over there saying that you're going over there for a wife and a better life and a better option of women, because that better option is what, you know.
Mm.
So then you put forth the question, like, what do you define as your option? Because if you have all this money and you can change lives and change environments, you know, is that money going to good use? For us, what type of use? Are you a pillar in the community? Are you helping the community? Are you going over there to grab you a chick? I mean, keep it a buck. Hey, if I have money and I'm going over to smash a woman, it is what it
Uh-huh.
is. I've heard BGS say, so what? They going over there to deal with the chicks. But my thing is, if you're doing that, say that's what you're doing. Don't try to run down this whole thing. You want a better type of woman, because better type of woman over here, you just don't want to deal with them because they don't look the caliber of those women in those countries that are struggling to a degree. And like I said, most of those guys conform in the Pookies and Ray Ray when they go over there in those environments, because they got money, they're not known, so they can become anybody who they want, just like most guys on YouTube. And that's
Right.
the thing.
No, you're absolutely right. They do. show Pookie and Ray Ray tendencies, um, because Pookie and Ray Ray isn't just being in the streets or what have you. You know, there's a whole lot of mentality that comes behind that. One of those things is even being reckless with your seed. Because there's a lot of guys I know who are, quote unquote, the educated lane, but they got, two and three kids, right? And oh, it's always, you know, I understand that there are some difficult situations with the women. Like I have a cousin who baby mother, he finally got custody because she kept keeping the kid from him and not showing up to court, but keeping the child support and not having him show up for visitation. And he kept paying child support, but he should have not done what he did in the first place because he was already in a relationship and then cheated with her and ended up getting her pregnant. So you got yourself into the mess. You know what I mean? So you can't really be mad. You knew she was like a psycho chick, which is what got you excited to mess with her in the first place. Oh, she gonna have some good because she's crazy. Okay, well now this crazy bitch got you in 18 years of a headache. I'm sorry, 21 years of a headache. You're glad to have your son, but it's something that you weren't intending on doing. You know, so that's Pookie and Ray Ray behavior as well. Being reckless with your seed, right? Because on some real shit, if I'm out here doing things in the streets and you got seeds you ain't taking care of, I might as well pull a bullet in your head because I can't trust you because you ain't taking care of your own seeds. And he said, "Uh oh, this is kryptonite content." Yeah, bro. Accountability. That's that A word. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah. I mean, even with that scenario, you do have the guys that, you know, make that mistake, like you say, or chasing the atomic dog. Why must I be like that? Why must I chase the cat? Nothing but the dog in me. So, you have that situation, but keep it a buck. Let's say what it is. What it is, what it is. If I want to just go have sex, why guys can't, be upfront with it? If I just want to, sneaky link and evolve into a relationship, let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it what it is, because when you put that relationship on that woman and she get heartbroken because she felt like she was in a relationship, and now that you're saying you're not, come on. I mean, let's have that conversation, because keeping it 100, we want the women to be accountable. The men got to be accountable as well. Me and AP had this talk the other day as well, and to the stand, it's not me railing on the men. It's me holding the sword to myself as well as putting the sword to a woman. You know, if you're gonna, if I got to SBE a woman, I got to SBE a couple of guys out here, because most of those guys put themselves in situations like you just said. Fam had a good job, decent woman. He cheated because of the body. You know, hey, most guys get into that. You want some. The whole talk is, man, you want something different. You don't want to keep hitting the same chick all your life. Hey, maybe you need to set up something where you and the old lady can have a cheat day. It works for Gilly. Gilly has his wife have a Sunday fun day. That's her day to go do what she do, whether she cheats or not. That's her thing. And Gilly just got to sit at
Fact.
the house and hope she don't, get ringed out. But that's the point. Gilly, if he's out there and she agreed that Gilly can do all that stuff Monday through Saturday, but Sunday is her day, like, hey, and, and it kills me, because a lot of guys who say, well, a woman fall in love with this and a man this and that. Man, when it comes down to it, dude, if you sit up here and you deal with a woman, that woman gonna have that same type of feelings as you. If you sit up here and you cheat, she gonna feel some type of way. Just as the same, if you go cheat, she's gonna feel some type of way. So it's
Right.
always when the shoe is on the other foot, we can kind of reverse. Well, a woman falls in love more. A woman
See
does
what
this.
Shannon said though, right? Shannon said, well, in those situations, maybe you should stay single.
Exactly. Yeah. And, you know, that's the thing. But nobody wants to say single because why? That in house is so lovely. That in house is so lovely. And honestly speaking, you know, I was just talking about this with AP yesterday on his Absalom Pianki TV. Shout out to him. Absalom, me and him was having the same conversation, and I said point blank, most of these dudes in this space, they shame big girls, and behind the scenes got big girls. And I'm like, what's wrong with a big girl?
Yo,
I don't deal with big girls.
here's what's funny, right? So you know Marty,
Yeah,
and you know the pictures that he has, right?
yeah,
He's got a lot of thin women.
yeah,
So he was getting into a back and forth. I'm not gonna say the dude's name that he was beefing back and forth with on online, and he's talking about, oh, he's got all these skinny women and da 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 da. So now all of a sudden, dudes is loving the BBW, the thick women. I'm like, yo, you can't win for losing, right? It's
yep,
like six in one, half dozen in the other. What's up, Chief? You know. So I'm like, here's the other issue that I'm having. Realistically, there's not enough men with stoicism, right? Niggas is sitting running after women all fucking day, every day, right? Every time you turn around, oh, look at that, look at that. That means that you're easily distracted. So now we wonder why niggas don't run industries. I had to have this argument with the dude the other day, and we're going back and forth. And he's like, "Oh, well, tell me what industry niggas run." And I'm like, "None. That's the problem, my nigga. We don't fucking run shit." I told you in 2017, simultaneously, 31,000 Sikh men came into the trucking industry. That means if 10% of them are beefing with each other, that's 3,000 niggas, right? Or 3,000 Sikh men. And 10% of them are rocking with each other. That 10% of them that are rocking with each other, that's 3,000 motherfuckers that come together and form Sing Bros LLC Trucking. Meanwhile, here in the Manosphere, we got Alonzo Hall Trucking LLC. But I'm throwing the fact that I make $100,000 in your face, Sheed, and you're doing Sheed, we here Trucking LLC. Instead of us coming together and multiplying what the fuck we make, we're arguing with each other. Meanwhile,
yep,
the Sing Bros are beating us out of work, beating us in the head. And I'm stunting on you. Oh, I got a G Wagon. Well, we can have a community. I thought we wanted to build a nation.
yep. S corp all day. Me and you get together, form an escort, man, and run it as such. We can still
Yeah,
remain individual companies and come together and run an escort, you know, or we
facts.
could just go ahead and put our two companies together, join them together.
Right.
It's multiple ways of handling that. And just like when I was getting my T-shirt made for when I went down to Savannah, the first person I reached out to was who? Four Corners Custom.
Mm-hmm.
Four Corners Custom. I reached out to him. I know he make T-shirts. You know, I didn't know any other guys off the top of my head that make T-shirts out here besides the ladies that I normally deal with in this YouTube space. And that's Joy. What's Joy's Be the Difference LLC. I reached out to her.
Mm-hmm.
Crafty Leo. She runs hers. Um, Unbiased LLC. She runs hers. Out of all those, and I got more women I can name.
Now, see,
Dress, all those women, and there's only one guy I can reach out to get a
I'm
T-shirt
not
made.
gonna, I'm not gonna stomp on the men like that. Totally, because I have son. He says, hold on. He says Mexicans in Texas do the trucking, combining every day. See, and you
Oh,
know, Complex was saying out in Cali, his entire situation had to deal with the Sikhs in trucking, right?
yeah,
But
yeah,
again, we got dudes, BGS and them, oh, feminism, this and the women that, right? And then Complex got pissed. He was like, Zoe, let me ask you something. He said, we had a conversation behind the scenes, multi-million-dollar deal, right? Yeah. He said, when we were trying to get this insurance, did you call Keisha or did you call the Lloyds of London? I said, I called Lloyds of London. And he said, now, was the issue feminism or was the issue supply chain? Supply chain. Okay, so what the fuck are we talking about? I'm like, yo, I get you. But We got dudes who are in their 60s pushing, women, women, women. Here's what we do, man. Get them to fall in line by taking control of something, right? We don't even control criminality, bro. We don't control criminality. You would think, what's the largest gang in America? You ask most dudes, they'd be like, oh, the Crips and the Bloods. The largest gang in America is 18th Street. It's a Mexican gang. 18th Street, then MS-13, Mana Salvatrucha, followed by La M, the Black Hand of Death, which is the actual Mexican mafia. Then it may be NF-14, which is Nuestro Familia. These are all Mexican gangs. Then you're
The
probably
biggest,
looking at the Hells
it's a
Angels.
bigger, it's a bigger game than that. It's called the
In America?
police.
Oh,
It's
well,
called the
yeah.
police.
The police. Yeah. Or the Fed. Right? But if we go down the line, then you would look at the Hells Angels, Outlaws, Mongols. These are biker gangs. Notice I haven't mentioned, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Right? None of that yet. But, you would think that we would at least control criminality, right? But we don't. So, can we control something,
We can't
right?
control that because we don't have boats. We don't have planes to
We
bring the
don't have
stuff in.
distribution.
Yeah, we gotta get it from somebody else. And
Yeah.
then, real quick too, when you look at the industries, um, only person that I know of that's been pushing a lot is for the truckers. People who are not in the trucking community that come around, like MOT always push truckers. Before, when I came into the space, I told guys the type of money I make with no CDLs, just regular C license, making at least $1,000 a week minimum. You know, I was trying to get certain guys in the space points to where I was like, look, dude, go get a U-Haul, drive a U-Haul for like a couple of weeks, go rent on the weekends, backing up at docks when they close, just learning the mirrors. I was like, my first trucking job, I was like, besides me working at this moving company I worked at, I worked over there for a couple of months. I worked there for years. But far as me driving, it was only within a couple of months before I quit and started my own business. Oh man, I'm gonna have to shut down. It's raining over here. But yeah, other than that, I've been trying to get so many guys into trucking. Hey, can't get them to budge, man. None of these guys don't want to make no extra money. None of these guys don't even want to make money, period. I'm like, come on, man. Like, what are we doing? And
Bruh,
MOT
I
trying to get
had,
guys in trucking. You got so many guys trying to get into IT real quick, but how many guys have to go through just basic training and can't even do that with IT? Trucking is just basically driving. They can't even do that.
bro,
Go ahead.
I've been trying, so there's a few fields in that we can get into that are complete self-employment, right? So prime example, I sell insurance, right? Insurance and retirement investments. Dude, I sit outside all day and fucking chill, right? Last month I did one deal. I made $28,900. That's an annual salary, right? In one transaction. I've been trying to tell dudes to get into this field for the longest. I had a dude who I was telling about my issue with brothers because I have four black men who work under me and four black women who work under me. The black men is like pulling teeth. The black women are here for everything. But it's like these dudes don't want to make no money. I had this dude who was like, yo, I'm down to do it, da 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 da. I had him speak with my principal. My principal was like, yo, get your insurance license. I told him how much it costs in the state of Connecticut. It's $140 to register with the state. It's like $300 for the course. So for a total like $500, you can get into this. Like I said, in one transaction, I made basically 30 grand, right? In the last 2 months, I made 42 grand, right? So like you can make a lot of money in this field. I'm not saying that you're gonna make it overnight because the last month I didn't make a dime, right? But the Negro had the nerve to ask me for $75 to buy a half a 8 ball of cocaine so he can make some money. You're 48 years old, and you're supposed to be someone that I look up to. And I'm telling you that I just made $42,000 in the last 2 fucking months, and you're asking me for $75 to buy a half of 8 ball of cocaine. What the fuck are you talking about, Negro? That's my issue, right?
Yeah,
What's going on,
and,
boss?
and
I wish I could
those
pull up the
primarily the
PDF of
gatekeepers,
my
right?
paycheck right now. I'm sorry?
And I'm saying those are supposed to be the gatekeepers, right? They're supposed to,
Yeah.
tell us how to run things. Supposed to be the pillars of communities. We ought to listen to them because they live life and they're old and wise. I was just having this conversation with my friend yesterday, and he was like, his son. He asked him a question. He was like, "Do you know more at 25 than you know at 15?" And he's like, "Of course, Dad." He's like, "Well, do you know more at 35 than at 15?" He's like, "Yeah, of course." He's like, "Why you keep pushing it?" He's like, "Well, I'm 25 years older than y'all. Why y'all won't listen to me when I try to give y'all information?"
He
And it's
said
like,
half a
"Oh, you
percent.
tricked me, Dad." And so when it came down to it, I told him, I said, "Man, this generation of kids, man, they live off of bumping their head now. It used to be a time where you would listen to an elder and get wisdom. Even if they tell you something wrong, you can decipher to know how to not do it because of what they're promoting. But with this situation, they just like, man, I don't want to listen to nobody. I just want to fall and go broke before, and I always got somebody to lean on, because if you come from a privilege or well-to-do or some parents that got a little bit, you always got some help,
Right.
and a lot of times that's why I see them YouTube video. I mean, Facebook, they post and they say that. And I told my wife that. I said, who's gonna help me if I can't pay the mortgage? I say you can help me, monetarily, but for how long? I
Right.
say I don't have nobody backing me. I'm the backup. I might can have somebody for a month or two, give me a hand. Nobody's gonna hold me for 6 months. I
No.
gotta do it.
But that's to
And,
be
and
expected, right? The thing of
exactly.
it, you realize that. But here's what, like, so remember I told you I saw the young boys out here and they were asking for money. And I told them, I was like, yo, you're a man. Nobody's got nothing for you, right? And what I'm explaining is this, right? Because we have these guys in the space who are complaining, oh, the women this, and, I got to have money. Yes, you do. Because guess what? If you don't have the woman, you still got to have money. If you do have the woman, you got to have it. Just like your favorite guy, Top G Andrew Tate said, you got a bunch of men who are trying to take your shit. So, like, the men are the competition. Yeah, Shin is laughing. He said, yo, this dude actually asked you for money for half or 2.5 grams? Yes. And I was like, and how soon am I supposed to get my money back? Because remember, sir, I sell life insurance, so I don't have a problem putting a hit out on your ass. We was doing that shit in Queens. Well, we wasn't, but there was some dudes doing that shit in Queens. They're putting life insurance on bums and murdering them. Corporate America is fucking cutthroat. You think the streets is? Right? But
Yeah, corporate America just do it from a different playing field. They do it the
the pen
legal
is
way.
mightier than the sword.
Exactly.
Listen, I tell people all the time, get your shit off. You might beat me up. I'll be in the hospital for 30 days. You're gonna ruin your life for the next 30 years. I'm
Yep.
going to make your life a living hell for the next 30 years. So congratulations. No, that was real shit. And they so what it was a traditional life insurance. They were selling what's called accidental death. So it's real cheap. What they would do is they would go up to the bum, hey, you want $50? Yeah, here, sign this. Okay, cool. They would get some chick to say she's his girlfriend. She'd be the beneficiary. They'd pay the premium. The premium might be $200 a year. They'll pay it for 2 years. So they came out they pocket $500. Next thing you know, motherfucker's dead, and the chick gets a check for $250,000. They divvy it up. Right? You spend $500, they get $250,000, and somebody who's homeless, so nobody's gonna really give a fuck about, just dies. And all right, mm, so yeah, they do that. But it's a crazy world, man. Yeah, yeah. Oh, you thought it? No, 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 no. If you're gonna kill somebody for money, $50,000 is not substantial enough, right? That's why they say black people buy life insurance, but they buy it wrong. It's a Yahoo Finance study, right?
I
So
told you, man, ain't no fish fries when I die, man. Me and my
hold
friend
on,
was laughing and joking about that.
my fault. I'll be right back, Sheet. My volume went out.
You good? Now I was telling my friend, I say, man, ain't no fish fries when I die because me
Yeah,
and
ain't
my
no
friend, we
fish
both
fry.
got a lot of little insurance.
Can you hear me, Sheet?
I can hear you. I'm
Oh
here.
shit.
Yeah, I
Okay,
can
yeah,
hear you.
nah, my audio went out.
Oh, nah, you good.
Alright. No, but so things are just.
And even with that saying about the fish fry, like I told my wife, I said this is gonna be devastating for you. I say, but the crazy part is I'm gonna make it to where you don't even have to work for a year or two. Like when my
Yeah.
dad passed, I remember us moving and going on trips so much, and I'm like, it's like, why my mom got all this money? She ain't working. I'm talking about a 3-year-old figuring this stuff out. Like my mama ain't working this
Hold
stuff.
on, dude.
Dude, I thought we was ball. I thought we was rich growing up because my mom she didn't work. And come to find out, my dad had all this life insurance. I'm like, dang. See, that's why I said I've been around it all my life, and my great grandma reinforced it. And then the older I got, I started finding all the stuff about my dad, how he, had a trust, had a life insurance set up for us. I'm like, dang, man. That's why I always tell you. I said, man, I got so much shoes to fill as far as what my dad did, man. I'm only scratching the surface about half of this stuff, man. Cause I'm like, dude, he knew what to do. And this was like in the 80s when he passed. Like in the 80s when he passed. So it's like, man, I got some big shoes to fill. He was already into this stuff because he was in the military. So that was some of the things that they discussed and talked about amongst their, peers and stuff. And his his status in the military, so he was in a position to where he was privy to a lot of his talks and stuff like that. But I'm gonna go on mute.
Well, here's the thing in terms of being privy to talks like that. So I remember I want to say I was 27, 28, and I had just joined uh, a fraternity, oldest fraternity in the world, Chaplain Men. Respectable occasion number 166. And one of my older line brothers came to me. He was in his 40s. And he said, yo, do the guys your age talk to each other about things like retirement? Yeah, that'll go fund me, Malika. So I says, no, we're usually talking about the latest Lil Wayne verse. He says, well, maybe you should change that. Maybe you guys, your age should start talking about things like retirement, because in the blink of an eye, you'll be my age. And then you'll start thinking about it and be like, damn, I should have thought about this 10 years ago. And now that I am encroaching upon that age of 43, I'm wishing that I listened to him 15 years ago and was like, yo, I should start thinking about retirement in my 20s. Here's what's funny about that. So America will push you into debts, right? So now we have the 40-year mortgage. Think about what the definition of the term mortgage is. Mortgage means payment till death, right? So now people are clamoring for a 40-year mortgage. So now most people refinance in the first between 7 and 12 years. So let's say in the first 10 years, people refinance. So let's say you're 20, you get a 40-year mortgage. First of all, nobody looks at the amortization schedule. So nobody realizes that when you buy a house, if you finance $250,000, you end up paying back about $600,000 because you're paying interest up front. And the interest you pay for the first 20 years. You start touching the principal about the last 10 years. So home ownership is pretty much a scam, but, is a great American dream, right? Um, but such is life. So you go into that and you're going to restart the loan to get lower monthly payments. That's why people refinance. So you're going to restart this now 40-year obligation that you're paying three times what you bought, right? So now they're stretching it out to 40 years because this is you pay three times over 30 years. So now that they're stretching it out to 40 years, what's up, cuz? Who knows how long? She says, that's why I'm trying to pay mine off in less than 15 years. Yeah, listen, if you can pay your mortgage off in 15 years, do it. Like I said, if I can show you a way to actually do that with your life insurance, right? Google collateral assignment. You'll learn how to do that. All facts. I bought my house was at 20 when I was 24 and I'm 46 now. Yeah, Shannon, I know you sitting pretty, bro. If you bought your house when you were 24, it's definitely appreciated by now. And now
Exactly.
you're encroaching. Go ahead, she.
No, I'm just saying exactly. Go ahead.
Yeah. So you're encroaching now what is the equity, right? So people talk about equity in their home. The thing about equity in your home is you have to access it through what's called a HELOC, a home equity line of credit. So what you're using is the house for collateral. So now what you have to do, however, is qualify for that loan. So you have to show proof of ability to pay back the loan. So you still have to be working this, that, and the third. Now, if you use your life insurance for a collateral assignment, you don't have to show proof of ability to pay back the loan, right? Or so you don't have to qualify. You just have to call up and say, "Hey, I got $100,000 of cash value in my life policy. I want to borrow $50,000." Okay. 3 days later, you got a check. Whereas if you want to borrow $50,000 off of the equity in your home, you have to go to the house and submit documents and how are you working and get a monthly payment and that. And they're going to run your credit and say, well, we'll give you 25,000 of that 50,000 that you want to renovate your kitchen. And 25,000 is not going to get me the renovation I want. I need 50,000. 25,000 is just for the demo. People don't understand home ownership is important. As a man, whether you have a family or not, they're teaching men not to be homeowners. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, no, home ownership is very important. Go ahead, she.
Now, I was gonna say with that too, it's two types of ways to build a lot more to me than financial wealth is life insurance and home ownership. A lot of times a lot of people just slack around their 20s and 30s, and after they hit 30, the whole call hit the whole phase of hitting the wall for women. And men also hit the wall too to a degree. But the whole point of hitting the wall, you
Bro,
actually start figuring out things,
I got a
you
hit in the
know.
wall joke. A
Okay.
lot of dudes are mad at women that quote unquote hit the wall because a lot of dudes ain't hitting walls, right? I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
Because listen, bro, you a man, I'm a man. We both grown. I've seen some women of all ages who I will take down in polo socks on my mama couch, right?
Yeah.
No matter the age. Now, again, this may just be in the carnal aspect and, in the physical manner, but the reality is physically, women probably won't ever run into the wall. There's always some man who's going to be willing to take them down.
Facts.
Hold on, I got a guest coming on.
Yeah.
Underrated. What's up, brother?
What's going on with y'all? Just check it. Just telling y'all, keep up the fine work. What's going on, brother Sheet? I just finished did my live and everything. So
What's
that's what.
going on? I didn't even see your notification.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I didn't get the
YouTube.
notification either.
Yeah,
Oh, you
YouTube.
did it at
Yeah.
11. I see it. You
Huh?
sent it on Instagram.
Yeah, I tell you, yeah. Sorry
We'll
though.
see
But
with the home ownership. I'll get to that in a second. Go ahead, underrated. I'm looking to talk.
no. I'm just gonna let you know y'all keep on talk about that because that's very important. Because generation wealth is very important of all levels of finance, in our
Absolutely.
words. And I want people to understand you don't have to know it, but you could have brother Alonzo, you can have brother Sheikah. That's what we'll start doing. I know we do talk about it on my channel, but I feel that we should talk about it a little more to really break it down for the ones that have who doesn't have. You still create generation wealth. We
Oh,
have to
absolutely.
understand that. So where we have information that is free, we need to take advantage of it and turn it to an investment. So no, I got a word for y'all. Y'all can use it. We gotta turn it to the eternal investment of yourself and
Absolutely.
in your family, and that's very important. So
So
Yeah.
here's what the home ownership, because I don't want to say I don't want to poo-poo home ownership, because home ownership is absolutely an excellent thing. But here's the trick, right? Because as you guys know, I did real estate in New York since 2017. So the trick is this: have 4 doors before you own yours. So the idea is that you want to have multifamily properties is the idea. So first trick is this, and FA was good, Chief. FHA is a federal homeowners authority. It's not a first-time home buyers loan. So you can actually qualify for multiple FHA or 3.5% down loans. But the idea is you get a multifamily property, especially if you're a single man. This is probably, I hope, what Shannon did when he was 24. You get a multifamily property, especially if you're in the Northeast where they have basements. You get a multifamily property, and the way that they qualify you for the mortgage is they take 75% of the rent and add that to your income. So let's say your income is $50,000 a year, and the rent is $1,000 a month for one of the units, right? So they'll take 75% of that, or 750 a month times 12, and add that to your annual income to help you to qualify for the mortgage. Secondly, if it has a basement, you, especially as a single man, are going to thug it out in the basement for 5 years. Now, when you're thugging it out in the basement, instead of getting the rent from one unit, you're getting the rent from 2 units. Why should you give a fuck? Do you know how many men I know are quote unquote thugging it out, renting a room? I've never rented a room. I could never imagine just renting a room. Right? I need a whole apartment. That's just me. But if you're gonna thug it out and rent a room, thug it out in the basement and have them pay the rent for you, basically, and have them pay your mortgage. Then after 5 years, you can actually move out. And then if you want to have your homeboy who's on hard times thug it out in the basement for a lower rate of rent, you can do that. but now your mortgage is paid off. Now you've got two doors. The idea, maybe you do it a second time so you have four doors. Once you have four doors is when you can buy yours. What do I mean by buy yours? That means your forever home. So that's where you buy that single family home with the car garage and all that other blase blah. Because I've never seen a basement a day in my life. I no doubt. Uh,
But even
you
with
must
that, you can stay in one of the room. You can stay in one of the actual units. So let's say you buy a quad, you can stay in the quad. Let's say you don't have the gumption to get a quad, you can always get a duplex. You always can get a triplex. Long as you're able to stay in one of those units and the other units rent out and give you that money. So for instance, I was dealing with a guy. I was doing some work for him, and he was actually going to sell this quad that he had. And the thing of it was, he wanted 1.9 million. I know I couldn't qualify for 1.9 million for the whole thing, so I kind of just backed off of it. And upon me doing research on it, I actually found out I can qualify, like you say, FHA for one of the units, and the rest of the units, the 75%. I could
hold on,
qualify for that.
Chief.
Go ahead.
Now, you know you my client, so I gotta push back now. I gotta re-educate you.
Uh huh.
Was this recently that this property came up?
No, it was a couple of years. It was a couple of years back. I know what you were
Okay.
talking about though. With that,
I'm
I know
about
what
to
you were
say.
talking about with the insurance.
Yeah, I was gonna say now you know me. If this was 1.9 million, you got about $1 million worth of life insurance, so you could qualify because your life insurance you've had for at least 2 years. You could walk up in the bank right now and say, "Hey, give me a loan for $500,000. What's your collateral? I got $1 million of life insurance that I have for more than 2 years. Here you go, sir." So yeah, all right,
Yeah, but see,
but keep
yeah, but
going.
yeah, but the thing of it was, when I found out the information, he ended up dropping the price because I negotiated the price and I told him, I said, your agent is faulty. They're giving you information that's not true. Like this area with the mortgage, the rent, the rental rates. Like when I looked at the rental rates on that property, the comps were running about $3,000 a month for rent for the quad that he had, and he was only renting them for $1,500 because he didn't fix them up. And once he fixed them up, he was able to get more out of them, but he just wanted to go ahead and sell them. And he bought it for about 6. He had it for 10 years. It was just about paid off. So he was like, I go ahead and put a little money in it and sell it, and I'm good. Which he sold it for 1.2. And I was like, dang, my loss. I didn't know. It was even cheaper. Like I could have went your route, but my thing was I was looking at using my life insurance and all that far as, like I say, as far as when I retire from my apartment complex. I told my wife that's gonna be my retirement package to go into my life insurance, pull the money out, and go ahead and get me some apartments that's pretty cheap and buy those and work with that. But anyhow, the thing of it was with getting that quad, I you know, I could qualify for that, stay in one of the units for a year, and then go ahead, get another house, rent all 4 units out, and get another house because even with the knowledge of that, FHA, you're a first time home buyer, if I'm not mistaken, within 3 to 4 years of owning your home, you qualify for a first time home buyer. Even if you rent the house that you're in, you still qualify for a first time home buyer after 3 to 4 years. And my thing was, I'm
Yeah,
like, okay, if I buy FHA this one time, I can't use FHA again. That's not true.
yeah,
That's
you
the
can use
notion that
multiple
people push.
FHA limits.
Yeah, because most people push that notion. Once you buy your house FHA the first time, the second house, you got to go conventional. That's not true. And like I said, the lies that people tell are starting to be the facts in people's minds. So that's why I always try to harp on people educating themselves and getting the information.
Also, another thing, so like Malika mentioned, she's intending on paying the mortgage off in 15 years. That's great. You're doubling up on the payments. One of the better things to do, or one of the more beneficial things to do, if you get a lump sum, as opposed to just paying the payment off, because It's not a small thing where you're gonna make a balloon payment like a car, right? So it's not like you're gonna stumble upon 20 grand and just pay it off, right? So you're looking at probably not having a balloon payment. So in that situation, you can actually pay down the points or the interest of your mortgage. So you can actually pay down 1 percentage point at a time. So let's say you're at what's mortgages now, like 6, 7%. Instead of making those payments to pay down, oh, let me pay an extra month mortgage. If I have $15,000, $20,000, I'll just pay down a point on my interest rate. So instead of it being 9%, it's 8%.
And do
Right?
that after you had
Um,
the house for a couple of years.
yeah, you can do that.
I did not know that. Uh-oh.
Yeah. So instead of refinancing, just pay down the interest or pay down the
Yeah,
points.
yeah, because I know it has a what's it called, a monetization schedule that shows you about
Amortization
paying off
schedule. Yeah.
amortization. Yeah, and the thing about it is, I looked through the paperwork. I'm like, dude, I'm gonna have to pay. I'm paying 3 times on this house. So I'm like, what is
Exactly.
going to be my best
Buy for two
option?
fifty, you end up paying 600.
They show that if you make one payment a year, you'll make one payment extra a year, you'll knock off 3 years off your house.
Yeah.
You know, and that's paying on the principal. Most people tend to do that. They just make an extra payment and don't think to say, well, put this towards the principal and make this the regular payment. So that's how you
Right.
lose at that too, because they're
Yeah.
they're taking the interest off that money, and a lot of people don't know that. So things of
Yeah,
that
you
nature.
can
Even
allocate.
yeah, even in every quarter, I seen this guy. He was making an extra payment every quarter on his home. He would double up every quarter. So he'll do his regular payments, then every quarter he'll, jump in another extra payment.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, there's all sorts of ways that you can get yourself out of that stuff. Like I said, the extra payments, but also if you come in a lump, buy down your interest. Because buying down your interest will save you so much more money over the long haul. It doesn't seem like a lot, but you can buy your interest down all the way to 1%. So if you're at, like I said, if you're at 9%, right, that means that every dollar you borrow, you got to pay 9 cents back. Versus if you pay it down, now for every dollar you borrow, you only pay 1 cent back, right? Says that would be nice. I have an interest rated 3.75. Wow, you got in at a great time because 3.75%. People would kill for that interest rate right now, Malika. Um, but so you actually have the ability uh, with most mortgage companies to actually buy down your interest rate. Um, so that's always something. If you didn't know, now you know, and that's the reason that y'all come here to get whapped and tapped on your head with ADH Wealth Solutions. So that though I did want to bring up, even though I was talking about initially Pookie and Ray Ray, I like to have these conversations just naturally evolve. Yeah, Malika, definitely. And y'all, I am planning on doing another source. Um, but because of Talani's time, we're gonna have to charge for it. It's not gonna be an incredible fee, but she just needs to be remunerated for her time. So because of that, we got to charge. I do have a brunch and wealth coming up too in the next couple of months. So stay for that. So I'll have to ready for that soon too. Um, but go ahead, she.
Yeah, I mean that's good. I mean, I'll still pay because the information is valuable, man. And a lot of people, you know, the free information is always a good thing. Don't get me wrong, but a lot of times when you want that quality information, what's the hustle and flow? What do you say? If it's quality, You got to pay for it.
Yeah.
So that's always my thing, man. I'm keen on paying my worth for the quality information, and then even with the housing, you know, these talks like this, because a lot of people scared to buy a house. Um, K Business hooked me up to a channel called Own Your Spot,
Yeah.
and I be over there watching her videos and stuff, having these same conversations, man. And I'm like, man, this is very informative for people that need to get out there on the, get their stuff together.
Actually, she
So
comes over here. She comes over here a lot on the spot
yeah,
live, right?
I've been seeing
Yeah.
it. Yeah,
Yeah. I like those people. It's a good crowd to be with. She you stay on top of you shared something earlier today. I can't remember what it was. That I had went over to. It was another brother. He was talking about something about finance. And the one thing I will say about you is in terms of community building, you walk it like you talk it.
yeah,
Because
man.
outside of you know, when it comes to sharing or bringing attention and stuff, yeah, you might be on these panels, but I see you sharing everything you share means something, right?
Yeah.
And it's somebody talking about something, and it's somebody doing something, you know.
What's my main motto that I tell on my channel? I say we can be entertained all the time, but at the same time, life still goes on. Things are happening, and we need to take accountability to where stuff, these conversations need to be had.
Well, you know what's funny? The whole Alabama brawl.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna do a topic on that about insurance because it's all sorts of insurance that went down with that.
Yeah.
Not just the life insurance, but like the boat. They have insurance for when people get unruly, right? They have something called event insurance. So like they plan for people to riot and tear up the venue. They already got paid for that. So when the cops come, broke genius, what's going on, bro? The links in the chat if you want to come up. You know, to kind of backtrack on what I was talking about before I was talking about this, I'm just talking about Pookie and Ray Ray in the community and how they kind of are a warrior class. Um, but so the Alabama people, they got all sorts of insurance out the wazoo to protect all sorts of craziness, right? I remember when I was working at Allstate, I used to do weddings all the time, right? And people had expensive weddings, and they would get insurance because if the weather happened or if something crazy happened, they need to have money there to protect their investment. Because they spend like I got a client who does weddings for as a wedding singer, and he charges $50,000 for the night. So they had to have protection for that. And remind you, these are big boats on marinas and they have alcohol. So they have liability protection because anytime you have alcohol, you have to have protection because people get drunk and then they fight. And we saw that's what happened here, right? But not only that, if they have things like disability insurance, that woman who got walloped in the head can actually be getting paid for being out of work because she out of work if she had a job. So hold on, let me put the link in the
Yeah.
chat just in case Broke Genius want to come up.
Yeah. But even
Man
for
and
that
tomorrow,
too,
what's happening?
MOT, shout out to you. I was just talking about you earlier about talking about trucking and in this industry right here, where we try to get guys into driving, but a lot of guys don't want to have that conversation. Like I said, the IT thing, driving a truck is simple, and I tell guys that I make over $1,000 just basically driving a box truck,
Mm-hmm.
no CDLs. Like it increases. That's why I tell one of my friends. He started driving his 18 wheeler. He's making $800 work for a company. I said I make more than you, and you have your CDLs, and I made more than him for the first 2 years. You know,
Mm,
and the
see, that's
crazy part
crazy.
is, but that's the thing. Over time, it
And
evolves, and that's why
see,
I was telling him. Even with my money, with me working at the job I work at overtime.
oh, he must have got a phone call. But even like with this trucking, man, listen, I got this young boy out here who works with, ironically enough, there's this big booty Keisha who I didn't get in high school, but we're friends now. Um, you know, and her son, yo, this boy is on fire. He was like, yeah, I'm about to get into trucking. I'm about to make at least 3,500 a week. I was like, what? He said, yeah. He was like, yo, this is the field. And he's not being selfish. He was like, oh, I put my, but they not listening. And it seems like this is a common reoccurring theme with a lot of brothers not listening to the brother who's the square right now. Meanwhile, as square as he is, he got everything they want. They got to keep asking him for this, that, and the third. And brother said, listen, I'm making like 3,500 a week off of trucking. I'm like, see, that's where the money's at, man. You know? So that's how we can definitely make it
But,
in life.
but a lot of these young guys out here in this space, you know, dude, you can literally somebody like MOT has his already authority and everything together for trucking. Honestly, he wouldn't even hire probably 80, I would say 95% of the guys in this space because of they're going to be unreliable. You know, if you're complaining and doing all this issue talks about women and you're not, doing something to better yourself, like, the thing about it, and who was it? It was May, and I think MOT touched on this as well. She explained to the guys when they were talking about Keisha this and that with the women, and she was like, "Well, you don't have to deal with them, right? So, like, what is your next plan? You don't have to deal with them. Like, you can talk about the women all day, but what is your next step? Because you don't have to take these women for who they are. I say that all
True.
the time about the guys. I don't have to save a woman. I don't have to deal with any woman that's not of my family or my wife. Even friends. I don't even have to, help a friend out. I don't have to do nothing for any woman. But the point that I want to do something that says something. Even with the men in this space that always complain, it's getting to a point where it's complaining because at first it was more of a recognition and giving an understanding. Now it's to the point of complaining because you've had the talk several times. Like, honestly speaking, I hear guys say this. How many times are we going to do a video every 5 days a week, 6 days, 7 days a week of talking about these women, but you're still online? You're not giving guys information to say, look, leave these women alone. Go get your LLC. How many guys are pushing guys to get their LLCs? How many guys are pushing guys to get into trucking like MOT is telling them to? You know, that industry changed so many guys' life. Once they get into that trucking, man, all they got to do is just stay the course. Work on yourself, work on your skills, stay the course. A lot of guys are not staying the course. That's why they're suffering the consequences with this stuff. It's not mediocre. You can get your CDLs. Let's say you go to a school, basic training, start off like I say, making $8 to $1,000. You get paid every week, and then once you get your paycheck every week, I know a guy. This guy saved over, I think it was $600,000 or $700,000 driving an 18 wheeler in a couple of years. I don't even know if it was 5 years or something, but the dude, he was making like 140 some or 150 some a year. He didn't have a home. He lived out of his truck. When he got tired of living out of that truck, he would go get a hotel. He didn't have no woman. He focused on the mission at hand, making money. When this guy wanted to get out that truck, he went and bought a house versus going to put down on the house. He went and closed on the house in 15 days. Straight cash, closed on the house in 15 days. Did his inspection, closed in 15 days. Like that's the type of things you can do when you're in the trucking industry. And let's say, okay, well, I don't want to do trucking, I don't want to drive. IT, easy. It's to a point you don't even need a degree. All you need are certificates. You go take a test and you're in the field. I was talking with Sub Zero, and I was telling him about being A plus certified. He laughed. I was like, but Sub, you've been in this field for how long? You got to start somewhere. You got a guy like me that's not in the IT, and I can get A plus certified. I can come in the door making a measly 30, 40,000. But the more, I get my experience and then move up and C plus certified, get security clearances and stuff like that. I'm making 80 to 100 some $1,000s a year. He's like, yeah, yeah, you're right, you're right. I said, but you got to start somewhere. Most of the guys are not starting somewhere. They're not even starting at all. But they expect, oh, the women need, no, let's take the women out of the equation, because when you keep women in your mouth or having this conversation about them, how are we going to, better ourselves? Not even just the community, better ourselves. I always speak on this about this on my channel, that it starts with you. This starts with your household, and then it spreads abroad. I can't help other people if I can't help myself first. You know, that's when we go into this whole thing, applied selfishness. And that applied selfishness, it comes with you starting with you first, getting things done with you, making things right with you. Then you go help other people. Even happy wife, happy life. I can't make my wife happy if I'm not happy. I mean, what sense does that make? I'm gonna give my wife the world, and she's not doing anything for me. Like, who's signing up for that deal? And that's the
Right.
thing. You can do that, but at what cost? Your happiness is gonna be not fulfilled. You're gonna be in a situation to where you're always gonna be damper than whatever spirit hits you. But to a point, it's like enough of the women are this. When are we gonna start moving towards the conversation of betterment of men? You know, Even with the Pookie and Ray Ray thing that you brought up, like a lot of guys they speak on, oh man, that's a bad term, that's bad in our community. We push this. Either way it go, we can say this all day. There's a standard of class. Even on that boat, the Montgomery Bar, it had some racial tension in there, but mainly it was a class situation. This guy felt he
Yeah.
was better, or to an extent that where you shouldn't touch my boat because I make more money than you. It was a class situation, and it evolved into the racial profile after that. But don't get it twisted. This guy got money. He think he can run stuff. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's true. I want to talk. Well, I got to run upstairs and get my charge on my phone on 15%. But this comment that Shannon posted actually makes a lot of sense. They want to go from 0 to 100K overnight. Honestly speaking, a lot of niggas in there are just now starting their careers, and it's insane to me. But let's look at the fact that um yeah, a lot of niggas are in their 40s just starting their careers, right? Shit, technically my career is just taking off in my 40s. But it's not just starting, but there are a lot of niggas who are just entry level in what they're doing in their 40s. Now there's no reason to diminish that, right? Because I had to have this conversation, and this is something that I want to speak to the men about as well, because I have a homeboy who's in his 50s, who I was saying, hey, listen, why don't you get into this? Yeah, I don't know that I want to take the time out to, learn this because it's going to take X amount of time. And my thing was, okay, if it takes 5 years, right, for you to learn this craft, right? You're 50 now. In 5 years, you'll be 55, right? And then you'll have finally learned this craft. And he was like, yeah. And I was like, okay, now if you don't learn this craft, right, and 5 years passes, what happens? Well, I'll be 55. Okay, but did you learn the craft or do anything? No. So then why not take the time to learn the craft? And I think that's what happens. The statement Shannon made is why they don't want to do that, because they want to go from 0 to 100K, and they don't want to put in 15 years like I did to make, $30,000 a month. Right? It's not going to happen overnight. It takes a lot of falling on your face. Jordan didn't become Jordan overnight. Remember, he played for several years before he made a finals. Yeah, he's 6 for 6 in the finals, but it was 7 years before he got there. LeBron made it in his first 3 years, but still, who's counting? Uh, but still, a lot of people didn't make it. Shit, Magic made it in his rookie year, right? But how many NBA players are going to make the NBA Finals and MVP their rookie year? Not many, right? There's only so many slots in the NBA. He said, I'll be honest, I made mistakes in my 20s, which delayed me starting my career. Now, Darkman Jeff, I'm going to ask a personal question. Did you have your father in your life? Or, if not your father, positive black male role models other than Bill Cosby, right?
That,
And the reason I say again, she.
I'm gonna be real quick with that. That's the same way like with me. Like I was on the fast track straight out of high school. You know, I got married at 25. Before that, I was successfully making. I was almost at 100,000 mark before the age of 25.
Mm,
Before the age of 25, I was almost in $100,000. No, not 25. I take that back because it was around the kids. So it's like 20, 28, 29. I was almost at
okay.
$100,000 at 28, 29, and I quit that job to be home with my kids. You know, because I already said I can't get those years back, and I'm good. I can make money, do things, still have the point with my kids. Raising my kids, it was a good investment, being home. I can go make the money now. I I'm in industries where I can do whatever I want. I can make the type of money I want. I told my friend wife that. And my father wasn't there. I had men in my life that motivated me. That's why I stayed ahead of the curve with most guys. I had uncles, I had granddad that was moving in industries that make money. I can
Mhm.
I could literally quit my job right now, go get a job in welding because of the trade that my granddad taught me with their profession in their family, welding for years. So that dude plays a part in it. While most people were playing around and going to the club and having fun, I was doing all that, but I was in a career field driven to where my money is endless. It's banking mainly on me and what did I want to do to obtain that type of money in that field. But go ahead.
No doubt. So, Dark Man, sorry to hear that. The reason I was asking, because here you said, I'll be honest, I made mistakes in my 20s, which delayed me starting my career. So the reason I asked if you had your father was multifold, because you did take that accountability. So that shows one growth and likely guidance, but also with your father not having been around during those later years, those formative years, the teen years, that's where a lot of men you really need men in those teens to 20s, because that's where you are a man and you're going to make mistakes. Look at black men: 16, 17, 17 and a half, 17 and three quarters, 17 and 5/8, 18. You a grown ass man. Get out there and be a grown ass man. Even if you're with your father, you're a grown ass man now, boy. I'm going to teach you about being a grown ass man. Right? No doubt, she. So I'm not asking you to make any excuses. That shows full accountability. That's manhood. You're like, yo, it is what it is. I had to deal with the cards I was dealt. Marty is another one who we had this conversation where We were talking and he was like, yo, such and such is the situation. I know I have to work harder than the next guy, but it is what it is. That's why I'm where I am, because I know it is what it is and I'm going to deal with it and adjust. And that's what we're going to do as black men. I'm not going to say that's what we need to do. I'm going to stop talking about what we need to do and I'm going to start talking about what we're going to do. Right? So, we here for the grind. One of the things we're going to do is we're going to take care of our health. Why? Because I don't think we realize the damage that we do to our community by not taking care of our health. Right? I haven't been taking care of my health to the point where if I cough, my wife gets nervous because I had some health issues and maybe I'm not doing all the things I need. I'm not going to say maybe, I'm going to man up. I'm not doing all the things I need to do to be 100%. Right? But now, here's where me taking accountability, me saying stuff like that is a problem. Because I have people out here in real life who are my clients, who I have them set up to be paid for the rest of their life. And he said to me these words, Alonzo, I intend on living a long time. You've got me set up to be paid by these people for the rest of my life, right? Yes. Okay. I intend on being alive a long time because I want them to pay me a lot of money. By the way, I need you to start taking care of your health. Why? Because if I'm going to be making the money for the rest of my life, I need someone there to manage it. Hence, you need to be alive. Right? So look at the impact that that has on my community on a small scale of just one client. So if one client thinks like that, what do you think the other 99 clients think? Sheed, you're my client. You probably want me healthy and alive, right?
Exactly.
Yes, Mela, annuities is part of it. Right. So you'd rather me here than not, because if something happens to you, your family is already knows to call me. So then I
Exactly.
got to be around, right? And every time I cough, my wife gets nervous. Oh my God, are you okay? That's stress on her that she don't need, right? So what we're gonna start doing, black men, is we're gonna talk about what we're going to do. And then we're gonna do it. We're not just gonna talk about it, right? Don't worry, Malika, I'm gonna be here. Mm, See? So that's three people who are my real life clients who just said, hey, your health has real life implications. Right? Which means I can't be passed out in the alley somewhere from diabetic coma because I have people who, you know, you're not dependent on me, but I've become a part of your lives. So we have to look at the effect that that has. Your children, if you're sickly all the time, you can't go play ball with your boys. You can't have a tea party with your daughter. You can't take her dancing, whatever it might be. Shit, you can't pick her up and throw her in the air and catch her because your back hurts. Right? These are the small things that, even when these guys are complaining, we got to think about. We mad that Keisha won't have sex, but can you keep it up long enough? Is your blood flow all right? Says all you got to do is eat more cabbage. I feel you. You can't give her money. No, I can't give her money, right, Malika? But These are all things that we don't think about. So our health has that effect because that might be a reason that a lot of guys are mad at Pookie and Ray Ray and Keisha because their health isn't in the aspect where they become two pump chumps. So even if Keisha did lay down with him, oh, so he's not satisfied because some people get pleasure in getting their rocks off or getting the other. Like some dudes get off on the fact that they're savaging. Some dudes just want to hump and pump and dump. Some dudes enjoy getting her off. It gets him off. I'm a daughter that likes money and eating season cabbages in season. Now y'all got me wanting some cabbage today. I'm about to go get me some oxtail and cabbage. See, well, the oxtail may not be the best thing, but the cabbage and rice is okay, right? But we're gonna start doing that, you know, because you already started with the here for the grind with the health, you know. Um, and Mela, I love your avatar, change your world. So that's what we're doing today. We're changing the world, and I'm gonna start throwing little tids and tads in there, um, just because I think it makes sense. But all in all, uh, I do think Pookie and Ray Ray are a necessity in the community. And when I say Pookie and Ray Ray, I mean the real ones, right? So, like Sheed said, if you look at it, they can actually be the leaders of conglomerates, of companies, etc., etc. Now, at the same time, there is always going to be a criminal element, and some people are going to want to go have to get their fix. So you need Pookie and Ray Ray so the successful guy can go get, whatever crocodile tears or whatever the fashionable drug is of the day. I don't know if crocodile tears is an actual drug, but I think I heard something like that in Russia. Um, but so those things are popular with rich people. Rich people and rich people's kids always do crazy stuff. So the thing is, like Dark Man Jeff said, in his 20s, in your 20s, you're still a kid. But this is why people like me and Sheed and Rael and MOT and AM1 and Aunt T and Marty McFly and so many others are tired of hearing Keisha, Keisha, Keisha. Take care, Queena. Because we're over 30. We're not just hitting 30. We're 35, 36, 39, 45. Right? And oh yes, it is Taco Tuesday. I think I'll go get tacos today. Babe, tacos? Okay, we're gonna go. Are you on lunch yet? So, I think um, there's just a bunch of different things we can do. One of the things we're gonna do is we're gonna come together, we're gonna come up with a rite of passage. Because we need to have something so that we can start at a young age classifying our young boys. Right? So we can say, hey, this boy is a Pookie and a Ray Ray. And a Pookie and a Ray Ray is not a bad thing. A Pookie and a Ray Ray is going to be a badge of, hey, these are the warrior class. Now, does that mean that we're going to run them out to go bump their heads? No, but hey, maybe we militaristically train them. Because in the military, there's all sorts of engineers and shit. You could go to the military to be a barber. You know how many guys I know? Yeah, I did. I was in the army. What did you do in the army and the navy? Oh, I took up communications. Oh, you cut hair for a living? You did military cut? Remember, somebody's got to do that. Somebody's got to peel the potatoes. Somebody's got to swab the deck. Somebody's got to shine the shoes. Somebody's got to load the guns. Somebody's got to wash the drawers. So not everybody's out there killing on the front line or getting killed on the front line. Somebody got to cook the food. So while you sitting there dodging bullets to make sure it's Taco Tuesday for the fellas, right? But these are all things that are even rites of passage in the military. They put you through extreme stress. So we can put our men through some kind of test to say, hey, this is a Pookie and a Ray Ray. Now, maybe this Pookie will be the leader of an industry, but we're going to rear him towards that instead of just letting him be a straight up Pookie and Ray Ray and run the streets. Now we have Pookie with a purpose, Ray Ray with a reason. Right? Since we gonna wipe ass, we gonna give Pookie a purpose and Ray Ray a reason. Cause that's all that's missing. Is a purpose for Pookie or a reason for Ray Ray. Shout out to the broke genius. He actually had a few different classifications. I'll tell you one thing. One of the classifications that BGS has for gas is serious. I'm still trying to figure out my car and the gas. Cause all I use is premium, but I keep overfilling it. My military job isn't transferable for civilian workforce, so I had to get an administrative gig with the state government. Mela, I'm not sure. If you go to usajobs.gov, your GS status should be transferable. It depends on where you were at. Were you like a 9 or higher or something, or were you like a GS5 or something? I work with the federal. I work with federal government and municipalities, so I know all y'all's stuff. Even on the state level, I work with a lot of police. I work with a lot of corrections officers. Right. So these are the things that we have going on. Um, and then you can classify that quote unquote educated lame as okay. This is a guy who's going to be the IT kid behind the scenes, the guy in the chair for Iron Man. Right. The point is applied. The points were applied towards my application. Okay. Well, oh, you're retired now. Oh, you must have had the old contract, Mulla. The good contract where they did take your big three. Mm. I know there's some people who I've worked with from the who I've worked with professionally who are I think GS 13. So they're pretty high. It's public record what their pay scale is, what your government pay scale is. And actually that's a great sector for black men to get into. Actually, I'm going to type that into the chat. Right? usajobs.gov is a great space for black men to get into. To get into IT, reach out to me. Yeah, and reach out to Broke Genius. You can reach out to him to get into IT. If you want to get into financial services, you can reach out to me. I'd actually recommend it. If you want to buy a half a 8 ball of cane, don't. Hold on. Uh, you know, that's something else. Hold on, guys. I gotta respond to this text message. He says, all you need is the ability to learn and grow and a clean background. Man, I haven't had much luck getting into the federal. Darkman Jeff, have you gone into usajobs.gov? And then what degrees do you have? Let me see if I can help you right now. Because see, also we have to understand how publicity works. So things like the 84,000 jobs or the 85,000 jobs that the IRS has, that's not this year that they're doing that. That's over the course of a decade, right? So that's like this year to 2035 are they hiring 87,000 new agents. They're just doing that to scare the shit out of you. Now what they're doing that for is because right now the federal government is stressed the fuck out and overworked and underpaid, right? And they need you motherfuckers, that means Americans, to not stress them out. BS an accountant working on masters, taking that CPA exam right now. What part of the country are you in, Jeff? It was great listening to your honesty. Already subscribed. Hope to return soon. Thank you, Mella. Yeah, so yeah, definitely if you have your BS in accounting, um, what are you if you're gonna take your masters, don't take it in accounting. Take it in taxation and then go for your CPA. See, accounting is different from taxation, and that's where a lot of people fuck up when they're becoming CPAs. So I'll let you know, Darkman Jeff, I have my P10, right? And I have close ties to um the service. You're in the Carolinas, okay. Um, yeah. Are you taking your master's in accounting or taxation, Jeff? Hopefully taxation. Or switch up your coursework towards taxation, not just accounting. Because accounting allows you to be a bookkeeper, but there are way too many CPAs out there who have their accounting degrees, which means they fucking suck as a CPA because all they can do is accounting. They have no idea about taxation. Taxation and accounting are two different things. Just because you know how to keep someone's books, you're working in the accounting sector. Okay. So then you may want to just go for like the big four, KPMG, so on and so forth. But the advantage to them is still getting the degree in taxation, right? Because now you're specializing. It's just like if you get your doctorates, right? You can do, biology or you can do, heart surgery. Well, that heart surgeon, even though he's going to have less customers, his customers are going to pay him, 300,000 per procedure, and all he has to do is 4 procedures a year, while the other doctor has to go to the ER every day. But nothing wrong with the accounting degree. Don't I'm not trying to shit on your degree, right? You should reach out to there's a black man out here by the name of Black Uru Strikes, who is a CPA, who passed his CPA exam on the first try. I don't know if he doesn't want brothers to know about that because he's trying to retire, but I don't give a fuck because as black men, what he needs to do is pass down the knowledge to the next young black man. You're trying to be a CPA. What greater way than to make it easier for you by saying, hey, young brother, here's some contacts that I have in the accounting firm. Since I'm in my 60s and apparently begrudged with my wife because I'm on fucking panels all day about women, instead of helping the next young brother gain his CPA exam because I passed on my first try, let me help the next one. Nah, but we can't think like that. So if you see Black Uru Strikes, talk to him about accounting. But yeah, you might want to go to one of the big four, EY, KPMG, so on and so forth. And then you may want to, I don't know, the CPA is, you can also just go for the EA degree. I currently have my, like I said, my P10 though. She, what's good? You back?
Yeah, I'm back.
No
Got a little
doubt.
disconnected. Yeah, I was listening to you. I dropped off. I was switching streams when you was talking about Uru.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was explaining that he's I don't
yeah,
care about, trying to be private. We got to this is what's necessary, right? We got a young black man right here. Hey, I'm trying to become a CPA. Black Uru is a CPA. What better way or what better thing for the black manosphere to do than, hey, I'm a young black man trying to be a CPA. Hey, I'm a black man who's a CPA currently who's trying to retire. Let me pass the buck.
yeah. I mean, even with his clientele, he can give them the knowledge without a shadow of a doubt. But the clientele is going to be kind of hard if he's not in Chicago. But I mean, seeing that the rate of pay and situation, I mean, I would move to Chicago if I was guaranteed a job and certain benefits behind it. It wouldn't be no problem for me to move. But he's not even in the heart of Chicago. He's in a suburb somewhere. So I mean, hell, you start realistically towards the suburbs. It's kind of rough and move your way up.
Yeah. Or he don't even have to exactly give him clients, right? But
Yeah,
here's the beauty of the world we live in today, especially when you're looking at high net worth individuals. I know for a fact, I know some notable people who would who don't live in certain states, but their accountants are in those states. Like I'll give you an example. 50 Cent's accountant is a guy by the name of Bruce Seckendorf, right? He's in New York, but 50 Cent lives in Texas, right? So even with the clients, it may not be as difficult today. But there is still the trust factor, right? So hey, that's fine, but he could still give them a bunch of the knowledge. And what he can do is like what just happened with me. So my boss had a client that just reached out to an old agent that we used to work with that doesn't work with us, but we're friends on Facebook. So he reached out to me and gave me the client's information. So I reached out to the client and I was like, hey, what's going on? And I set an appointment with her. And then I called my boss Charles and I was like, hey, I got your old client. Hey, good job. I just let her know she's in good hands with you. Okay, cool. So, he's not like, oh, that's my client. Give her. No, hey, listen, she reached out. You got her. You know what? I already dealt with her. If she wants to come back to me, she can. That's the client's prerogative. But, you can handle her. Right. So that's what we can do too. Right. He can always take the client back if they want to be with him, but you can teach me how to do it. Or if you got newer clients who don't have that long standing of a relationship with you, say it's, you've been doing this for the last 30 years and this is a client you got in the last 5 years, last 4 years. So, they're just used to dealing with your assistant anyway. So boom, and then you turn around and you've built a book of business for a newer young accountant, right? So now, Jeff, you wouldn't be against this man giving you some pointers on, even if he gives you no clients. Hey, here's how I got clients when I first got into the business, or here's how I'm currently getting clients in the business after doing it for 30 years. I'm sure you'd be open to listen. Please correct me if I'm wrong, Jeff, if you're still here, right? But
yeah. The crazy.
so say again, she.
I was gonna say this. The crazy part about me, a lot of my clients that I have are off of word of mouth. So that shows that I have good service. Um, Customer service skills is a must. So a lot of my clients come off word of mouth, about the service that I provide for them. One guy I was talking to too, he didn't all the way up until he retired at 58. He retired at 58. This guy said, My business was never advertised after the first 5, maybe 10 years. It was all word of mouth. All his clients came from word of mouth, referrals, to the point where he didn't see no need to advertise. And plus, you have to, fight with people in pricing and, wanting the better deal. But just let alone with this guy, his prices, were reasonable to the point where anybody who dealt with him knew that the other person dealt with him. So he was a reasonable person. So
Nah, that's true though, Sheet. I think word of mouth is one of the best things. Like that's why I'm appreciative of you, Rael, Marty. Like especially like I said with you because you gave me your children, brother.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like that's a super duper badge right there. Like a man, listen, that's ultimate trust. So like I take that huge. You know. He says, I'm working in the government sector, so I'm not in that CPA firm phase just yet. Okay. Well, listen, even the government, see, here's the thing with working in the federal government work life balance can be great because you have a lot of flexibility. This is with the Fed, not the state level government. And this is specifically in the Department of Treasury, aka the IRS. If you're a revenue agent or better. Um, hint, hint, go to usajobs.gov and apply for a revenue agent. Hint, hint. But um, the work life balance is great. The difficulty is the pay is not going to be commensurate with any of the big four. Ernst and Young, KPMG, Price Waterhouse. God, I can't think of what is it, Price Waterhouse Cooper. Uh, I can't think of the fourth big accounting firm. Uh, what is it? Ernst and Young, Deloitte. That's it. KPMG, Deloitte, Ernst and Young, and Price Waterhouse Cooper. So if you're at one of those big four, you have no life. You'll make millions of dollars, but you won't have the time to spend it. Yeah, Price Waterhouse Cooper, Deloitte, uh, KPMG, and Ernst and Young. So yeah, you'll make millions of dollars, but you won't have any time to spend any of it. Um, and then yeah, like Broke Genius said, PWC. But you'll definitely make ass loads of money, but you won't have the time to do anything. With the government, you won't make nearly as much money, right? Um, but you'll have more work-life balance, and the way they work it out is like instead of giving you overtime money, they give you the ability to have time off, which is what Trump was trying to propose nationally. Instead of paying for overtime, you paid with PTO. So instead of, hey, you're getting overtime hours, because people love to work overtime, but it's stupid as shit to work overtime sometimes because you end up getting overtaxed. So there's a break even point where you end up having to give up so much. If you give up so much time, you end up getting paid less for it. Um, so it's a delicate dance. You can't work too many hours overtime. But then instead of that, they just wanted to start giving you, okay, well, instead of giving you overtime pay, we'll just give you time off. They do have great health benefits, depending on what you choose. Um, but the federal government takes great care of you. They have great retirement, great health benefits, all that stuff because they're the Fed. So, like for example, I can't sell a lot of stuff to federal government because, well, because the tax benefits and because the federal government takes care of you so much, they don't want you ripping off the federal government 6 ways from Sunday. You was about to say something, she?
no, you good.
So yeah, but yeah, they do have good health benefits. So yeah, definitely go to usajobs.gov, check out Revenue Agent. Any panel that you find Black Uru strikes at, I don't care what he talking about. Start talking to him about accounting. Oh, Keisha's terrible. Yeah, about Keisha. How about accounting? Like, I don't care how disrespectful it comes off. It's disrespectful that he's not passing down information to the younger generation. That's what's disrespectful, right? And we got to start taking that stance. So that's the stance I'm taking, because I don't want to be 20 years from now where we're messed up. A lot of people start off in tech support and work their way up to IT, to other roles. Yeah, that's a good idea too. Broke genius. She said, I work so much that I'm capped out at 240 hours at my job and they pay me overtime. Wow. Yeah, see, that's crazy. Well, different strokes for different folks, because see, it depends on how your retirement is too. Because if it's based on, like, if you're with certain municipalities, they base it on your big three. What is your big three? The 3 years that you made the three largest annual salaries. So if you made, 100,000, 150,000, and 125,000, or 100,000 twice and 150,000 once, and so it averages out those big three to 125,000. That would be your retirement, right? So it's kind of cool. Wow, I've been going for 2 hours. I didn't even realize it. I wasn't even expecting to be going this long. So, Sheed, you got anything else?
No, I'm good. We can close out with this.
Okay, he says, all right. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't watch a lot of Manosphere panels anymore. I kind of moved on from a lot of those. So have I. And I think what I'll start doing is more panels like this. Um, I seem to actually, Broke Genius kind of said that people enjoy these panels. And I guess it's because of my honesty, and my experience, right? And all I'm trying to do is teach, and each one teach one. We can all reach one. There's a lot of stuff I don't know. Sheed, you put me onto a bunch of stuff. You know what I mean? Actually, I need to get I lost my old phone because you had sent me that app. And I was gonna do a review on it, but it's on my old phone and I lost it. Uh, with where the checking where people were checking their credit or doing their budget. And she says, I watch UK and a handful of infotainment channels like you. Hey, that's what it's about, man. Make sure you watch Sheed too. Sheed drops a lot of good stuff on his on his community tab. You also want to check out actually the Broke Genius. This is definitely another good brother. We're unorthodox, right? So we talk about a multitude of different topics. The reason we've come in, we're like commandos. In war, right? We're coming in and we're kind of grabbing guys out of the sphere. Hey, wake up, dust yourself off, right? Yep, things are tough. Life's not fair. I know. We still got to deal with it. Let's keep moving. Let's show you how to do this. Let's show you how to even the odds a little bit, right? Let's even the odds for us, right? It's not all the way. Is it now? Let me tell you guys this, right? Because people will, well, what are you getting out of it? Yes, a lot of this is very selfish, right? It's self-preservation is key number one. So I do a lot of this because I'd rather see brothers in a good position because I attain things for myself. And the last thing I want is a bunch of broke, hungry dudes out there. Because what does broke, hungry dudes equal? When I've attained things for myself, broke, hungry dudes who don't have things means that they're going to come and try and take my things. And that means one or two things. That means either I have to delete someone legally with my 40 cal Smith and Wesson, or I have to be deleted. He said I've had enough of the Keisha. He said I've had enough of the Keisha's trash content. A lot of it is repetitive. I'm ready to move on. Yeah. So I don't want broke, hungry wolves out there because I don't want to have to delete someone. Right? Because I'm going to protect mine and at all costs. Right? Like, unfortunately, today, outside of my apartment complex that I pay over $2,000 a month rent for, is a black dude who unfortunately fell on hard times. So he started living out of the. Hold on, you guys. Somebody's calling me.
Yeah, I mean
So he
it's.
started.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I gotta hang up this phone call.
No, I was just gonna talk until you come back, but now you go ahead.
This young guy who ended up getting arrested outside of my apartment complex. I felt bad because I have compassion because I'm like, dang, I know it's got to be rough to be out on the streets, but at the same time, I paid $2,000 plus a month rent on the spot. How you doing, sis? Right? So, unfortunately, brother, you got to get carted off to jail because I don't get to live here for free. Why should you? Right? Um, I got to make sure that I got my $2,300 there every month on time and obey the rules, right? So they unfortunately, because I used to do things. I used to, if I ordered a pizza and I wasn't going to eat it all, I would bring the pizza out to the guys who are homeless in the area and all that. Because I understand. Listen, it's a hard time out here. Times are tough. Life is hard, right? However, we still gotta, just as tough as it is for you, it's tough for me to get $2,300 every month. Especially I work on 100% commission, right? And Jeff, actually, also check out On the Spot. She's got some great content on real estate. And check out Malika. Just about everybody in my channel, in my chat, should probably check out each other's channel. I've noticed that I have a community of people who are like-minded and generally have want to do something. Like I said, we're giving Pookie a purpose
Tell
and Ray Ray a
Malika got
reason
to put some
today.
content out.
Yeah, she do. She need. You know what, Malika? You should tape yourself putting together some of them origami things. Yeah, have you seen her origami work, bro? It's amazing. She got this
I
Kobe
be trying to
Bryant.
find her Instagram. I can't find that because everybody y'all saying it's on Instagram. I couldn't find her Instagram. I go on the
Malika,
page
put
and
your
I'm over
stuff in
here
the chat.
frustrated.
Put your Instagram and your Etsy. Jeff, are you a moderator? See, I'm not on YouTube right now. I'm on what's the name? Because I make you a moderator right quick. Can I do
You have
that?
to hurry up and jump on YouTube and go to your channel, then
Yeah.
make them a moderator and jump back on. That's what I do.
All right, hold on. I'll be right back then.
Yeah, but I mean, it comes down to a point. I want to support a lot of people with good content and got something to talk about. But the thing is, it's more of the greater good conversation that I like to have because the conversation about women and their behaviors to me is getting kind of to an extent outdated because what are we gonna do next? That's like running into a brick wall, knowing that there's a brick wall there. You don't hit the brick wall so many times. Why are we keep talking about the brick wall?
Hold
It's
up,
a brick
wait,
wall.
Sheet.
It's not gonna move.
Are you telling me the men are running into the wall?
Running into dude. I've said this. When they say women hit the wall, there's a lot of men hit the wall in their 30s with their dad bod. I was talking about this on AP channel yesterday. How many guys have hit the wall with their dad bods and then who was it? AM told a guy who was 23 making money, told him he need to wait till he get married to at least in his mid 30s or 40s because he's gonna start making more money later in life. And he's like, well, I already make 100,000 at 23. AM say he didn't start making money till he got in his like mid 30s, like 35. So if this guy at your standpoint at 35, shouldn't you be giving him advice on marriage? But oh, I forgot, he's not married. So I can't give you advice on marriage if I'm not married. I don't think marriage is a good fit for me. So I think marriage shouldn't be a good fit for you as well. See, that's the flaw in this. I can't give somebody some information that's going to help them because then they'll be doing better than me. You already make more money than me at a young age. You already got yourself together at a young age. You got your dream car at a young age. What more can I give you but advice? But if I give you the wrong advice, I'm hindering you versus helping you. Ah, yeah.
Tight spot. Tight spot. You know, that's very true. You know, and I think that's what we was talking about. And I'm gonna have to try and find a lot of guys uh who have a similar situation. Me and Kay was talking about this the other day. We was talking about guys who have wives that work. Forget wives that even have high powered jobs or businesses.
Hey, shoot K my number. I want to holler at him.
Okay.
All right.
Um, but we're talking about like guys who have wives who have high powered jobs. Like I got a wife who has a high powered job, right? And at work she has to be very quote unquote masculine because she's a boss. But one of the things she told me, I allow her to be soft, right? So there's something to be said in that. Go ahead. Yeah. So, we again as men, all we can do is work towards stuff. But she'd hit it perfect on the head. The dad bod, you know, a lot of these guys be ungroomed, unkempt. Listen, the beard is cool, but you don't want to have, you know, your beard in your mouth. Trim it up a little bit. You know, I know, getting edge ups and stuff. Listen, that's not feminine. I go get manicures and pedicures all the time. Let me tell you something. Ladies will definitely like if your fingernails are nice if you're trying to tickle the pearl. I'll just put it to you like that. Marriage is becoming a high class concept now. So when you say you're anti marriage, you're saying you're pro struggle and poverty. Yeah, well, here's the thing, marriage was a thing for dignitaries, marriage was a thing of class. Marriage had nothing to do with love. Marriage was about, okay, we gonna keep these high powered families who run shit together with high powered families who run shit. Marriage, in terms of this whole love thing, came from, ironically enough, the manosphere men will be happy about this, came from cheating women because they were married to the king, but the king was an educated lame. The king was um, a highfalutin tootin', always protected from, born with a silver spoon, while as the knight were pookies. Knights was out there fighting and being rugged and having tattoos and scars and muscles, right? So knights were Pookies and Ray Rays. So the queens saw the Pookies and Ray Rays and got aroused because the carnal nature. Because originally, what made the king was he beat everybody else. What if you just don't want marriage? Doesn't mean you're anti, right? Well, marriage is more of a so let me give you an idea behind it on the spot, especially in the fields we work in. Especially in the field you work in, especially being an attractive female. So you'll get a lot of guys who definitely qualify for the home, and you'll take them to tour the home, and they'll talk nothing about the home because they're not interested in the home, they're interested in you. And this is even if you have a wedding ring. If you don't, I'm sure you definitely face this. So with men, what we face, um outside of the sexual harassment aspect is we face they don't trust an unmarried man to a certain point. You'll buy a certain estate, you know. That's why you'll see a lot of the dudes on $1 million listing that sell luxury real estate that are single are gay, because that's their get out of being married pass. Because if you're in the world of highfalutin, high money, high class, family is what marriage is about. And in order to have an intact family, you have to have a married family so that you all share the same bloodline and last name so that your assets can be divvied properly. Other than that, if you're anti-marriage, you were of poverty because there was no need to be married because you didn't
And,
have anything to pass down.
and
Since
I want
the
to say some. Go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
I
No, go
want to say
ahead.
something too, real quick on that. Even to the point of being married, you know, to each his own. And two is always better than one. The stating the claim for income. Most people marry for power. Most people marry for resources. But throughout all that, asking for resources and power and things of that nature, getting married is essential, business, as they say. But to a degree, it's not for everybody. That's the thing, because a lot of people don't want to share their significant other. So there's boundaries that you have to set in a marriage. Some people like sharing, the polygamy thing and all that. And to the point, financially, marriage is great financially. It's good business. Like I said, two checks are better than one. You can struggle by yourself in an apartment, or you can be financially stable in the house if both of y'all are on the same page. Marrying just for financial gains and to get out of poverty, you both have to have that mindset of working together. And that's the thing where a lot of people lack when, getting married and trying to, combine resources. They're getting married to get out of poverty. Men and women. Let's keep it a buck. Women will marry for a status, just like men. There are a lot of men who marry women with a lot of money that can take care of them, and they hold their weight every once in a while just to get by, just to show that they're somewhat of contributing. But overall, it's on both sides. Both men and women marry for resources. If you can't pay your rent, you're always struggling. You're gonna marry somebody that can, you guys can stay together. And if you're struggling by yourself, you're gonna flourish with another person staying with you, as long as you guys have the same mindset working together with a budget in hand. Go ahead.
Absolutely not. You're absolutely right. So like I'll give you the concept with mine on the spot. And this is kind of what Broke Genius was talking about. Like, so when I would go to work with seniors and like their retirement accounts and stuff, when I was younger, before I got married, people would only trust you but so far. But now that I'm married, people are more apt to trust me. Why? Because it shows a sign of responsibility, especially with men, right? For women, it may be a little different, but with men, especially in power positions, you're not going to see a lot of single men in power positions because they have nothing to lose, right? Um, how many single politicians are there who are of note? I'm sure there's some single politicians out there, but most of the time, when you see people in politics, they're betrothed because it's easier to trust someone who has a family because this country is still made up majority of family. And especially in the black community, that's one of the things that no doubt. That's one of the things that kind of messes us up because we don't have family, right? And what do I mean? Yeah, oh, that's my cousin, that's my brother, that's my sister. Yes, but my brother doesn't share the same bloodline as me, or the same. He doesn't share the same lineage as me. We got the same mama, we got the same daddy. In 2019, 76% of all millionaires were married. Yeah, that's a crazy statistic. Jesus Christ. I mean, it makes
What
sense though.
what'd you say? I didn't hear that.
He said in 2019, 76% of all millionaires were married.
Yeah,
Mm. So that
and
means more than three-fourths.
even with them not being married, but majority of them had a significant other. You got to
Yeah,
understand, empires are built with family. I mean, you think Bezos would have did all that without his wife? I moved a guy. He had a Snap-on company. Him and his wife alone, they end up hiring one college kid. Their last, I think, 2 years of service before he went corporate. And the crazy part about that was him and his wife. She was literally pregnant. She was like, "Man, I was 8 months pregnant, pushing a 600. What was it? She said, no, a 1,200 pound tool or tool chest with my husband, and I was 8 months pregnant, pushing that
damn,
heavy tool because they literally had nobody else, and it was to the degree she worked with him, had the kids. She, more or less stay at home mom. You can say that, but she was his assistant and his second hand, far as working. Man, that guy built himself up by himself, and literally within his last year of having the contract, had hired a one college kid. He sold so much within that region. Corporate was like, man, we need you on full time with a salary. You need to come in. First of all, when we hire you, you're training. You're not even going in the field making this salary first. You're going to train all our new employees or new corporate or franchisees how you did this. In North Carolina, when you had some of the top notch, guys who was in that field of snap on. And Jeff Bezos, same thing with his wife, putting those books in that garage. You think she was over there filing her nails down and said, "Oh, honey, put those books, stack them over here"? No, she was in there giving him a hand. That's the thing. They always say the strongest man, the strongest person, or two, I forgot the saying, but it basically goes like this: the strongest person or whoever can help a man is the strongest woman beside him. The strongest person that can help a man is the strongest woman beside him. You
you know
know.
what? That statement is the perfect segue right here because Miss She Said is in the building. Salute,
Oh,
Mrs. She Said. And
she
that's
said,
perfect because she represents for Mr. He Said very well.
yeah,
They have their shame Sundays, they cerebral Saturdays, and I want to shout them out
Thursdays.
because I think this is perfect for them to touch on too. But I think in our community, the Pookies and Ray Rays are our warrior class. Like I said, just like Vikings, right? But what happens is, and this again has to go to the shame on the men. We will create a rite of passage. Because I was talking to some other men about it, and they go, "Oh, the rites of passage is bullshit." No, we need a rite of passage. So we will create a rite of passage. So that game show, what's going on, brother? Game show host in the building, game show with the most. So we create a rite of passage so that our young men have something to look forward to. right? Because Pookie and Ray Ray are still a necessity. Because as we gain I keep it all the way 1,000. This is a real world. As men gain age and wisdom and money, they want to do their drugs. So they need real Pookie and Ray Rays to go get their drugs. So that's fine as long as you handle it like a business. The problem is that Pookie and Ray Ray are remaining Pookie and Ray Ray. So we need to give Pookie a purpose and Ray Ray a reason. And when they have that, that's how we can continue with that rite of passage. So we say, okay, we know you're a Pookie. Let me teach you how to do this. Says we have to work on our young women. It's getting out of control because there's no more shame dished out. Yes, that's very true, Miss She said. And that's why we leave that to the ladies. But to the men, we got to work on us. Says, wait, what? Oh, yeah, we go all over the place on the spot. You know, but yes, Pookie and Ray Ray are necessities in the community. Pookie and Ray Ray, let me give you Pookie and Ray Ray's actual name. Stokely Carmichael. H. Rad Brown. Right? That's Pookie and Ray Ray's real name. Huey Newton. That's Pookie and Ray Ray's real name. See, because the revolutionists, and this is an issue that we have with, I guess, maybe boomers. The guys who are in their 60s not letting go. Because Stokely Carmichael was in his 20s, and then these people were in 19 to 27, fighting for revolution. And they never let the reins go. And that's why change hasn't come as drastic as it should. I'm going to throw a little joke in there. We had some change at the Alabama beatdown, though, right? But realistically, again, I'm laying this at the feet of the men. Because Black Uru could be teaching my man, Dark Man Jeff, how to pass his CPA exam on the first try. That's a trope that's put out there, right? I was talking about this earlier on the spot. One major issue with black men is that we don't control any industry, including criminality. Right? What did I say earlier? What's the largest gangs in America? Well, you got to start with the largest gang in America, which is a Mexican gang, 18th Street. Then MS-13, then La M.A. the Black Hand of Death, aka the Mexican Mafia. Then Hell's Angels, then Outlaws, then Mongols. Wait, did I mention the Crips and Bloods yet? No. Oh, they're somewhere on the list. Maybe there's 100,000 of them in the country. But then the fact is that these other gangs are not inclusive of blacks, like blacks are of others in their gangs. So you can't be black and join the Hells Angels. You can't be black and join the Outlaws. Yeah, I'd say it's more lack of discipline and lack of control. If people can't discipline themselves on stuff, right? You can overindulge, and that's what people end up doing. Speaking of indulge, I'm getting hungry. I should eat lunch. But I think it's more that lack of discipline. Go ahead, She.
I was gonna jump in the truck. I'll say something in a minute.
Oh, okay. So I think if we can find a real rite of passage, right? One of those things, like you said, with the young boy who said, "Hey, I'm 23, I'm making 100,000 already." That's great. So the difficulty is that in 2023, 100,000 is really not a lot of money when minimum wage is $15 an hour. That's $30,000 annual salary, right? So we have to put things into perspective. So again, I believe I was on with D. Durrell, and we were asking, well, what's a good number to start as black men where we say, hey, as a rite of passage, you get accepted you can sit at the big boys table now. You don't have to wear pull-ups no more. You can finally wear, tighty whities like a real man, right? And I figure that minimum income was $1,000 per year old you were. So at 20, you should be making a minimum of 20,000. Everybody resigningly said, nope, that's too low. Even though numbers realistically are a little different right now, I think the average annual salary or average household income is about 61,000 annual in America. But they said, nope, at 20, you should be making 40,000. Otherwise, you can't sit at the big boy table. And I think if we do start making that hard line and making a standard, what it is this: these guys keep going around asking for women to upgrade their standards. Stop giving Pookie and Ray Ray the panty pie. Yet, as men, what is the standard we have of men? None. So then how can we expect the women to have a standard of men? So what we as men, we got to start being bullies to the men that we want to be the dregs of society. Otherwise, we're going to keep in this circle jerk of Pookie and Ray Ray and being mad at Pookie and Ray Ray. When we can realistically get that, right? We can get the big booty chick. She says, so shame should go around and include those drugs. Well, yeah, we can definitely have that as well. But the reality is those drug elements are put there because unfortunately we don't have a standard as men. Go ahead, she.
Yeah, I was gonna.
No, as soon as you started talking, they got him. All right, well he'll be back. I'll
Can you
keep
hear me?
going too.
Oh,
Yeah, I got you.
okay. Yeah. It comes down to it, man. A lot of us. I mean, just taking the fact that your father or father was or wasn't in your life, the difference between men and males. More and more, I talk with Gold Professor. We have that discussion.
Shout out to
It's
Gold
pressing.
P.
A lot of guys never had that growing up. That level of conversation. It's something deep when a man has to sit down and talk to you. Like who's really interested? Who's really working on it? You know, a lot of us don't have that, so we kind of get negated to even go through the process of growth. I was listening to this pastor. He was saying about resistance. He was like a butterfly breaking out of its cocoon. You break that cocoon from that butterfly. That butterfly wings are strengthened by breaking out of that cocoon. So you have this situation with a lot of guys in the space that they never got their resistance. So how could they actually grow into being something great when nobody molded their cocoon to be successful in life? You know, we go through this a lot with a lot of men, even in the training, the understanding about life. I can't tell you how many guys at their older stage in life say, "Man, I'm just going through life trying to figure it out." In your 40s, 40, you're trying to figure it out. You know, and it puzzles me. Even with the women, we can point the finger at the women all day, but to a degree, I've said this amongst a lot of guys in the channel, and they laughed at me. I told them, I said, you always complain about the so-called hoes and those type of women, but you're steady having sex with them. You say fat women are not desirable, but you're still behind closed doors having sex with them. So as long as you're not having sex with them, as you say, publicly and doing it behind the scenes, you're giving them an outlet. I can't tell you how many big women I know that have kids. Yeah, I messed with big women back in the day. So I'm not ashamed of it. I'll tell a guy in a heartbeat. I show a picture of a girl and everything. What's it to me? You know, the difference in where I am now and who I was, the growth pattern, the process and with me being a bigger and stronger and better man, even the point of the health that I was talking about was for the grind. I'm not doing it for my wife. I'm not just doing it for my kids to be around for a long time. I'm doing it for me. I want to be around and enjoy the fruits of my labor. I told my wife that uh, a lot of times. I'm gonna have to go into my life insurance and get some of that money out before I pay it all out to you guys. You know,
Big
I want
fat.
to enjoy that. I want to enjoy that. And we talk about this all the time. What's the difference between life insurance and death insurance? Death insurance is strictly for when you die. Life insurance for life. A lot of people don't realize that until when 40s, 50-year-old man. I could have been putting so much money in here, and I could have been getting this. And I always tell them it's never a dull moment to the point where you can, change your standings in life. But who's willing to make the sacrifice? That's the biggest issue. Who is
Yeah.
willing to make the sacrifice?
No, you're absolutely right. Um, but that's where it comes down to, and that's where, right, we can figure out a multitude of rites of passage. One of those things, though, it's not gonna involve a ball. I'm gonna tell you straight like that because we don't, um, we don't control enough of that industry, right? We don't support stuff like the big three like we should. How do I know that? What's the last thing that was basically black owned that we really got behind, but not really? And it got kind of big, but then got kind of bought out. And one. Remember and one? And one was the streets. And,
Team
we
Will.
would come to the games, but then after a while it got played out and nobody supported it anymore. Right? So that was something that could have been our avenue. Imagine if that was still going and instead of having to start from scratch again, like Black Uru was forcing Darkman Jeff to do, Ice Cube could have just latched himself on to and one and been like Ice Cube's and one, right? And then Ice Cube's and one, and then it just keeps the momentum of and one going. Because they already had distribution, they already had TV deals. This is what we need when what we mean when we say black manosphere. We mean a place where black men can go and do business together across city and state lines. Me and Marty just did a deal for $250,000. Right? I don't know if he's still in here, but he'll tell you. We just signed the paperwork. He called me, yo, Alonzo, pull the trigger. I sent him the paperwork. He signed the paperwork back. $250,000 deposited. Right? Because behind the scenes, we in this space were communicating with each other. We're creating a network of fellow men. Me and game show hosts. Hey, I need something. He hit me up. Hey, I got you. Boom. We did what we did together. Somebody needs some. Hey, Lonzo, I need some. Hey, it ain't me who could do it, but let me call this guy. Hey, yo, I got a brother who need da 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 da. Here's his number. Right? This way, when we're looking down on another brother, it's because we're trying to help pull him up. Right? So that's why we're looking down, because we have to pull you up. No doubt, brother. Of course. I want everybody to be able to check out everybody's channel here. Because everybody here is generally about something. I don't have any people who are just, the only reason I say generally, because not everybody has a channel. But
Yeah,
everybody
that's
who
why I
has a
give a lot of
channel.
wrenches.
Hmm?
I say that's why I give the wrenches to everybody in the pen. Aunt T started that, and I started going along with it too. Because if everybody has a wrench, you can't time out people that come to your chat.
Mm.
Because everybody has a wrench, and then it's easier to find other people's channel by having a wrench.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't like somebody, you can't time them out because they got a wrench. You got to sit there and put up with their conversation. The only person that can time them out is the host.
Mm.
You can report them or something like that. That's it. But other than that, you can't time them out. The host can
That's
only
good to know.
time them out.
Yeah, I'm just
Host
learning
can
that
only
one.
control that. And that's what I always do when I'm live and I have somebody on StreamYard through my phone. I always have my YouTube open on the side so I can change screens and hit my YouTube, go in there, get him a wrench, a standard wrench, come back out, and I'm good.
Mm. Facts. That's the lit way to do it. See,
Yeah,
we learning stuff every day. Mm-hmm.
that's like what the next thing for me to do because that's why I really was gonna get Nightbot, but I'm like, if I'm doing it this way, I don't really need Nightbot for that because Nightbot was supposed to be the purpose for people to drop their links. They're
Yeah.
creating more and more things now to where you know you can have a standard moderator, and I guess it's managed or something moderator as well, to where they can do more than the standard moderators.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I mean, a lot of times it's having an understanding. Like within this space, it should be a Rolodex to where all these guys can literally call guys in their industries for help. Like he was saying with Uru. Uru don't have to give the place where he works,
Mm-mm.
but he gives his profession and he has a number to where he can give advice. You know, it's easy to set up a 1-800 number, like a call center type, to where people can call in, hit an extension, and go with that. I mean, there's the whole thing of like a fraternity. These guys should have been set this up way hand to where they had guys coming in paying dues. All these guys in this space giving all this money, and we can't confine ourselves to give at least $5 a month, even $1. Many guys in this space, we can't get $1 from every guy in this space to
Mm-hmm.
fund a phone program and a guy to run this stuff. You know,
Mm-mm. That dollar could be spent on me complaining about Keisha. Mm-hmm.
even with that point, I mean, even to a point, where's the growth? Like the first years I came into like 18 and 19, I didn't hear this much talk about women. I would hear it every now and then, and I'm like, okay, that's common. If you dealt with a woman treats you wrong, you're gonna talk about it. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
it's common. Like the behavior aspect, you can't change a woman in this environment if you're not, family or anything else because hey, the environment speaks for itself. I say that time and time again. It's a one way. This lady going down the one way, boy. She about to
Oh
have
wow.
a hell of an accident.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, just speaking to the environment, how many guys have been, you got all these guys who coming in now, the scholars. What are they teaching? Like, uh, these are the people should be having courses on teaching
Mm-hmm.
things. But you're having courses, about macking and talking
Mm-hmm.
to women and getting game. Hey, you can be taught similar to a degree some game, but at the same time, man, just having an understanding. How many guys are gonna go down the same rabbit hole of having kids? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, this is a crazy thing to the point where we keep saying my baby mama treated me wrong. This person did that to me wrong. Dude, it's coming. It's starting to become a thing that you want this to happen to you. You have so many women that get guys pregnant to keep them around? How many dudes keeping women around by the neighborhood wild girl giving her a baby to where now y'all trying to make her work as a family? She
Mm-hmm.
still want to live hot girl summer. She's not going to change because she had a kid.
Mm-mm.
The promiscuous is going to be even more because I was looking at a joking video to where the woman's like, all y'all women so smart and y'all still out here having babies by these old thug Pookie type dudes, and then she go and look some up in the government saying that if you have a kid, we'll give you food stamps, we'll help you with government assisted living and all that. Just like Sister Shasar Ali, she
Mm-hmm.
said in a video, she was saying that when it comes down to it, the government is your man. The government takes care of your kids. The government provides you with room and board. The government
Mm-hmm.
even get to a point, put you back in school and get you educated and get you in the workplace to make you better to supersede the man that you had a child with to, just put you in a position of winning. Because if you really knew the standards about all this stuff, and a lot of women don't, going back into what is the Rockefellers. They
Mm-hmm.
wanted women to get out of the house, and they were trying their best to get them out, figuring out each and every way to do that. Because you got to understand, they knew that only having a man working, that's only one paycheck. What I
Mm-hmm.
always say about the government, when the government, when you get a divorce, it's two Christmas, two
Mm-hmm.
households, two cars, everything's in two. You're
Mm-hmm.
gonna have to provide more for the kids. The kids gonna be wanting school clothes from mom and dad. Those
Mm-hmm.
kids know who's providing the most. You can sucker a kid all day till they get older, and reality sets in. I never really seen my mom this and that. Like I'm gonna end with this because I gotta jump off. They have this saying now I've been watching where this one comedian was like, women go around saying my broke little friend,
Mm-hmm.
and that
Which is
broke
a
little friend
child.
is the child. But the guy explains like, how's this your broke friend? And without this child, you can't get this assistance for living, for food, and a child support check. You're the broke little friend. You're riding the coattail of the
Mm.
financially stable child. So
Wow.
I'm gonna end with that.
Okay. So I'm gonna go on. No doubt. Salute, she. Thanks for coming up. I'm gonna get ready to shut down a little bit myself. Actually, um, I do want to check out this comment from On the Spot. She says people attempting to reward behaviors and condemn them at the same time. That's what's happening. That's absolutely true, right? But that's human behavior, right? It's just like I can do something, but you can't do it. But unfortunately, the reality is, well, if you can do it, I can do it. Or if you can't do it, I can't do it. And unfortunately, we don't want to live with the consequences of things. Um, but even still, it is people wanting to reward certain behaviors, like you know, um, the situation that she'd said with the broke little friend. The problem is they are condemning them at the same time, but that's because there's the wrong label being put on it. So I was actually having this discussion with someone yesterday. Yeah, make sure you get my man's book too, the Millionaire Savings Plan. So the issue with the imagery is this, and I was having this conversation yesterday. So very similar to, we say, oh well, there's so many white people who haven't even seen black people, so their perception of black people is only that of what they've seen on TV. So they think that all black people are living in the hood and sipping gin and juice and having shootouts every night. And they think that's what the hood is. But there are also a lot of black people who live in inner cities who don't truly have interactions with white people, or, the quote unquote certain type of white people. So I'll give you an example. I used to live in a town called Douglasville, and we had an area called Across the Tracks for both sides. It was basically the west side and the east side of the town. On the west side was the poor black people, right? On the east side was the poor white people, but there was also rich white people. And the way the town was set up was you would go to you would if you were on the black side of town, which was the poor black side of town, you go towards the tracks and there's the shopping center, the Walmart and everything. You go across the tracks. Yep. You go across the tracks and that's where the rich white people are. But you go a little further across the tracks, which would be further up the east side, and that's where the poor white people are. So, unfortunately, the black people thought that everybody who lived across the tracks was rich. That wasn't the case. So, it's a double perception. Basically, it's a perception of the haves and have nots, and the haves are trying to confuse the have nots. It's really not that much of a racial tension thing when you get to certain levels. But so there are certain imageries that are positioned in our community. Like I said, Pookie and Ray Ray, black men don't own criminality. So let's shame it because we don't own criminality. If we're gonna highlight criminality, right? Think about it. Think about the Mexican music artists. I want y'all to Google Mexican music artists, right? Whoever is popular today in Mexico. Mexican hip hop, I don't care. And see what they're talking about and doing. And look at black hip hop. Because in black hip hop, I'm the plug with the cartel, whipping weight, whipping cocaine. How they whipping cocaine in 2023? Nobody uses crack anymore. Now, if you could have said, yeah, I'm doing it with the Benadryl, mixing fentanyl, making sure that they getting ill, okay. But nobody does crack cocaine anymore. They kind of stopped that in 1999, right? So if we don't own criminality, because cocaine is still popular, but cocaine is a rich man's drug, right? You can't be poor and doing cocaine. I'm in love with the cocoa. Nicer, what's going on? You can't be poor and doing cocaine. Cocaine is $100 a gram. And you're usually going to want to do, even though 1 gram is considered overdose, but it's a rich man's drug. So you're usually going to have, 2 to 5 people doing it with you. She's going to spend, I don't know, $300 to get a nice hit of cocaine. She said, go off with the freestyle. Bars, right? But so cocaine is a rich man's drug. So they can't be slinging in the hood because these folks are trying to get bread, let alone the money for some breads. Ain't that the style of Jordan? Right? And Jordan's only what, like $200-300 sneakers. I don't consider that money for clothing. Remember, you're talking to a dude who buys custom suits. So I showed y'all the receipt, or if I didn't, I will show y'all the receipt of my custom suit because I like showing it off. Right? But that's another thing that we have to get into because oh, my wife made some steak. I'm mad. She ain't even tell me. Oh, we fighting. Or she might have made a burger. That's probably what she made. I forgot we got them Angus burgers. Um, but there are, we can have nice fashion for ourselves as men, and we can teach each other about fashion. It says show again. Yeah, I'm gonna show it. Hold on, bro. Let me go grab the receipt so I can show y'all. The receipt for my custom. Yeah, I had to get them custom, man. Let me see. Hold on, turn on the camera. So, like I said, this is my new Coach wallet, right? I just got. This is my old Coach wallet. So I just changed the color. But you want to have good leather goods. And like I said, the reason I use Coach is because Coach is good for leather goods. So when you're buying luxury items or designer items, you don't want to just buy it because it's designer, unless they are a fashion brand. Like Burberry is a fashion brand. So I'll buy certain stuff for them for fashion, but like I wouldn't buy a Burberry belt because they're not known for leather goods, right? But my Burberry sunglasses for fashion, yeah. My Burberry jacket for fashion, yeah. Um, but like my suits, hold on, let me see, where did I put the receipt? I don't know which wallet I put it in. That's why, because I change it. So here's another thing, especially like when I'm talking about with class, because I didn't get to this level till I got with my wife, but like because she changes out her bags. So ladies, y'all know what I'm talking about when I say change out your bags. See, women, when they have a quality item, they like to keep it quality. So what do? They change out their bag. Um, oh, so here's the receipt right here, right? Let me see if I can get this up in here. So it says Valentino Taylors, right? New Haven, Connecticut. Let me do it like this. Valentino Taylors, New Haven, Connecticut. That's for me, Hall Alonzo. MTM jacket, right? So I can't see if you can see the price of that right there. Made to order jacket, $1,464. Made to order other jacket, $926. Right? So my total was $2,562.57. I paid them a down payment of $1,250. So I will owe them $1,300 when I pick up my suit. Um, I did this Wednesday. Um, oh, they're telling me my suit will be ready Wednesday, September 6th. Um, so yeah, September 6th, my suits will be ready. My suit jackets. These are 2 suit jackets. These ain't even full suits. But that's the receipt. And I did the purchase. When did I do the purchase? On July 26th, right? Here in New Haven on 8179 Grand Ave. So now these are one is Super 150s, the other is Super 170s wool. I try to do high thread counts. I wanted to do 2 170s, but they didn't have the pattern in 170s, so I had to do 150s. Um, and then I was gonna do a cashmere suit, but that's a winter weight suit, and I like year round weight suits. So I might do my linen suit. I want to get a cut cotton suit for my summer weight suits. And these are things that Kevin Samuels didn't address with us, like the weight of suits. You need to know the difference of suit weights. So like anything that has polyester is generally going to be a year round or a winter weight suit, because polyester is a very hot material. That's kind of like that plastic. Steve Harvey, you would think like Stacey Adams would have a lot of polyester. Stacey Adams is more of a fashionable suit, though. It's not a business suit. But if you want to go out and look fly, you can get you some Stacey Adams. Um, but listen, guys, I've been going for 3 hours, and I don't want to harp. You know what? Before I do that, though, I do want to show y'all one of my blazers that I got from Bloonies. Let me show y'all this. Show a little bit of the blazer collection here. Here's a little bit of my closet. Here's some of my blazers and suits and stuff, as you can see. So each one of these blazers is a couple $100, just so you know, right? So like this is one of my newer ones that I just got on sale. So this is one of my newer ones that I just got on sale from Bloomies. Bloomies is Bloomingdale's. Right? I haven't even worn it yet. I haven't even ripped the tags off. You could call this my HOF because it's a green jacket, right? So this is a Robert Graham, right? So I haven't even ripped the tags off. But This is what I wanted to show y'all because in the other video, remember I did the video about the suits, the custom suits. So here's one way you can always tell it's custom. See, on regular suits, they do kissing buttons, but there's no buttonholes. If you see buttonholes in a jacket, that's 1,000% custom because that means that you can't move buttonholes. You can move buttons. So this suit right here, I bought on sale. Hold on, right? So this one I bought on sale for $419, right? That's on sale, but that's not even custom. So now I have to go get this one custom fit to my body. Or I could just spend a few more dollars and get stuff like this, right? Like even the back of the neck here, I got customized on my suit, right? On the custom suits, the body is custom. I mean, the buttons are custom. My label will be custom. My label will say ADH Wealth when you see my label. My lining is custom, right? So while this is just off the rack, and this lining, I ain't even gonna hold you, this lining is hard. It's the zodiac symbol. That's why I got this jacket. Cause I was like, yo, this lining is fire. I don't know if y'all can see that, right? But this is what we need to make African American men great again, right? And we should be wearing the uncle suits and the uncle hats and taking pride of being the man in the linen suit with the custom Clarks and the Bowleys, right? You know, and shoot, while I'm at it, I'll show you guys. Here goes a little bit of my tie collection, right? So if I lay this down for you, hold on. Hold on. Here goes some of my tie collection right here. Here goes some of my ties, right? Some of my ties, right? And then here goes some more of my ties, right? And just like you wouldn't even believe like the brand names on some of these. Like, let's see, this one, Jeffrey Bean, right? But then this one, actually, I like this brand a lot, ironically enough, Donald Trump, right? But then we can go even harder, right? If we want to go hard, you know, Ralph Lauren, $200 and $300 ties, right? Meanwhile, I got grown ass men going animals when they came through with a pair of Jordans, right? What's this one? This one is Isaac Mizrahi, right? $350 tie, right? This one is what's this? Michael Kors. Couldn't get Michael Kors if you was fucking Michael Kors, right? But none of this is the label, like I was saying earlier. Black folk, rich people wear labels. You just don't know that I'm walking around in everything Gucci because, oh damn, I done dropped all my ties. You don't know that everything I'm wearing is Gucci because it doesn't say Gucci. You don't know that everything I'm wearing is $2,000 for a fucking suit jacket. Hold on. Wait a second. Let me flex on niggas a little bit. Hold on. 400, 800. Remember who was that did that? Mr. Fantastic, right? Showed hats. So 400, 800, and this is just assuming that they're only 400. I'm assuming that they're only 400. Let's see. That's 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36, 4,000. Wait, I got more back here. So that's 4,400, 4,800, 5,200, 5,600. So right now, that's just $5,600 worth of suit jackets. Not even full suits, because the full suits generally cost double. But just suit jackets. And on average, each suit jacket is about $600. I cut it to 400 because that one I had was on sale. So I averaged each and every one of them to 400. Right? And that's just suit jackets. Now you can spend $5,600 on one suit jacket as well, but that's going to be like Tom Ford, and for all that, you should just get custom because then you are just paying for the label. But at certain points, you're also paying for a certain cut. Like now that I'm thinner, I can't wear Michael Kors suits anymore because they don't fit good on me. They fit good on portly guys or heavier set. At any rate, ladies and gentlemen, I'm done ranting for the day. Wipe ass, work in progress every day and see success. Wipe ass, work in progress every day and see success. Wipe ass, work in progress every day and see success. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, when people challenge you, they don't challenge you to challenge you, but they challenge you to challenge you. Accept the challenge. Salute.